All right, you guys are on.
Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Let me get y'all. Everybody pulled up here. Oh, we sitting here, had all this damn time. Been pulled this up. All right, let's mute that. All right, Back of the Bus podcast coming to you guys with a live stream today. You know, I got over here to my right my man's Theo Butler. I ain't saying, I'm just saying we're going to review these comic books today in a live stream format. We got time to be making the videos, man. We got a lot to cover, and I don't want to be here for 4 hours sitting in this chair. So we're just going to work it out all together. Theo, how you doing, bro?
And I'm doing pretty good, man. We definitely don't want you in the chair for 4 hours. Just in the chair for 4 hours, so we're gonna make this as expeditious as possible. So we ain't gonna do that to you. But I'm doing good, man. We're doing good. We're doing good. Here with the Back of the Bus podcast, man. Glad to be aboard with you fellas.
For sure, man. Always, always. Good to have you, bro. So we got a packed slate. We got several books to go on. I think we should start with all the Judgment Day events since we've been riding that really heavy. Get that out the way first. I think where we left off would be on X-Men Red, number 7. All right. Nice little cover right here. Yep. Yes, sir. Always copping. So to open up here, we're gonna start out at Arakko, right? And so this is in the immediate aftermath of the battle with Storm and Magneto when they created that mutant circuit to fight Uranus. This is right after that, where we were kind of questioning. I think that happened in the last A.X.E book. You know, where he was kind of sitting there looking like he was getting ready to pass. It was either that or X-Men Red, one of those. But we were kind of wondering, like, okay, is he actually, was he really about to go? And it seems like they're gonna stay, at least for a while. They're gonna stick with it. They're not, they're not gonna pull the trump card on this too soon. I think the biggest thing in that is holding up the relations between Arakko and Krakoa. The last thing you need right now is civil infighting. That's the absolute last thing you need right now. And then also, I think just for the plot, it works better. Like it seems like in this event, there's some real loss happening, right? Even on the Eternal side, we'll talk about that in the Death to the Mutants book. But they're at very least they're committing to it for now. It's not going to be a quick, all right, everybody come back. At least it seems that way.
It's one of them things to me where when I look at it, it's like, okay, you killed Magneto. This feels like, to me, this is just me now. This moment where we see Magneto dies, to me, this is no different than we watching Batman versus Superman, and Superman died. Like, the story writing is great, but the emotional tug on my heart ain't there because I know what Eric Lenshier means to the X-Men stories. Like, you know how long Alfred gone? Eric Lenshier not gonna be gone that long. Like, Batman was gone for 12 issues. Superman was gone for 12 issues. What we saying? Magneto might be gone for 12 issues. And we don't even know how that's going to actually play out, considering the way the Judgment Day storyline is playing out across these various titles. So as you alluded to, it's good for the story, but the emotional pull on me just isn't there because this isn't just any character. And let's be clear, it's way too much money on the table to be made when it comes to Eric Lenshier across all platforms. No, he's not staying dead. So that's just me.
Hey, fair enough. I'll take that. So he's fading here, right? And in his dying moments, the one thing that he wants to get across to Storm is to watch Charles Xavier. Now, this is an interesting tease because there's a couple points in this I guess in this event where you have kind of seen them lay threads for things that are going to happen post Judgment Day, right? There's one that I, kind of alluded to. We'll hold on to and put in my back pocket. An Immortal X-Men, and then there's one here with him talking about Charles Xavier, and what I got from it was basically his propensity to be a martyr, and how that is going to end up, affecting all of mutantdom, because now I'm not there to balance him out. I'm not
Right,
there to pull him back to the center. He gonna be full-fledged Mr. Woke here in a second. You know what I mean? Like
right.
he's
I think
he's gonna be taking a knee and begging forgiveness if you don't watch him. So watch him.
I think that's important. I think we, how can I put it? We get caught up in this world being absolutely one way or the other, and actually the world is more gray than it is black or white. You do need that balance. I know I've talked to you about it, equal energy, balancing stuff out and everything like that. Charles will need that because Eric has always been that for Charles, even before the X-Men were formed.
Mhm.
So Charles is definitely going to, especially when you look at how many character um arcs Charles has had. Like Charles came out as a goody two shoes, then Charles became a manipulator, then he went back to being a goody two shoes, and somebody told him his legs could work, so he was out there in the field trying to handle his business, and he get paralyzed again, then somebody snuff him out, and Charles need help. So yeah, he especially who else is more qualified if not Eric Lenshear, who some might question his mental stability, other than Aurora Monroe.
Well, not even that, right? It's not even just to question him, but question him from the right side.
Right.
Like
No,
it ain't gonna be hard to be more virtuous than Charles Xavier, because as we've seen, in his you say in his best intentions, the type of foulness he's laid down in his Marvel existence. But
right.
at the same time, in an interest to not play to some false sense of morality, Magneto kind of acts as that balance. So he's got to be somebody who's respected, but at the same time shares the right perspective, the war hardened perspective, the one that's not necessarily going to please the diplomats, because
That
that
was the
seems to
role.
be the one that Charles leans towards the heaviest. So, interesting little tidbit there. I also liked some of this paneling. The next one, as he's going out, and I don't know if they're trying to represent, he has like visions of the sentinels behind him descending
Mhm.
upon him in the background there as he's going out. They've managed to pull on your heartstrings a little bit when they start talking about him seeing his daughter, as he's going out and stuff like that. So just
I'm
a very emotional moment.
if I can say it like this, like I said, understanding what they're going for, but me just knowing what the character means. As I sit back and I think about it, if I go all the way back, not the giant size X-Men 1, because that's not what they meant, but I can remember when she first went up against Magneto. I'm actually sitting here looking at this comic book right now in my memory and everything, and I can remember it was a issue where it looked like they were exploding out the page per se. She was on one side, Cyclops was firing his optic blast and everything like that, and Magneto captured the X-Men. And it was their first battle with him. Wolverine cut through the back of his cape. Colossus punched him, and Magneto was like, y'all must not understand why they call me the master of magnetism. He sent Colossus flying across the room. I say all that to say this. Magneto and Storm have had a enduring relationship. I'm not gonna say complicated, but the relationship hasn't always been as simple as villain versus hero. They've had quite a few interactions, and that's why I'm like, if there's somebody that he would trust to hold Charles accountable, it would be her. It would be her. So he's seen her grow. He's seen her grow from the young, the young mutant to a full-fledged, what some people consider to be a goddess. He's seen her grow into all of that.
Real deal, real deal. So moving on in here, getting into the meat of the book. This is some of the more interesting parts that we want to get to for sure, because it's about none other than our favorite character. I think jointly in this book, Iska the Unbeaten, right? So
Iska. Somebody
yeah,
gonna name it Iska.
They come back to what I'm seeing as like a bone X, like a tribute to the X-Men made in the Fallen. A little
Yes,
morbid, but hey, this is what we doing these days.
right.
Um, so they meet there, right? The Great Ring does with Iska, and they begin to question her fitness to set the ring. First of all, duh. Why are we just having this conversation now? Second of all, um, it's interesting to see how Iska reacts to that, right? There's no, I think right away she tips her hand that like she probably knew all along she probably shouldn't have been doing any of this. She probably shouldn't have been involved, right? But they're getting down to the nitty gritty of it and really asking some questions. So now nobody can come up with an answer. Not Aura, not Lotus Lagos. Nobody seems to have any rules on it. And as Iska is goading the ring into a fight, essentially, because she's like, so what if I ask y'all to scrap right now? What y'all gonna do? All y'all done tried, all y'all done failed. If I ask y'all to scrap right now, what y'all gonna do?
But I
Say
like
something.
it
Say something.
because my dog Logo's like, you know what? Hold up.
You
So
don't
we
even know me, dog. You don't even know me. You don't even know me like that.
hey, do you see how he looking at her chest? Do you see? Wait, let me see. Do you see how he's looking at her chest? That's when you know somebody don't care nothing about you. They ain't even looking you in your eye. Hey, cuz, I don't even see you right now, cuz. I don't see you right.
I know you close though. I know you hella close. I know you hella close.
Hey, I was here for it, but she was talking mad trash though. Like she was
She
mad.
was.
Like, oh, so you gonna be arrogant with me? Okay,
But you know what though? This was a precursor to the result because she's expecting them to cower for some reason, and that's not the way of the A.K.E.
right.
That is not their way. And they tell her such. They tell her like, hey, look, man, jump, do something. Like we fighting you regardless. Regardless, we fighting you regardless.
We
And it
don't
even
care how I
Storm.
go down. We don't care. But you fixing to pay for what you did. You gonna pay. Oh, you gonna pay. You gonna pay. We don't even care how I go down, but you gonna pay. Yeah, I was with it. I was with it. And then to see the big folk pull up.
Yeah, I was about to say. So Miss Regent Storm and the Night Seats pull up, and right before everything hits a critical mass, the Fisher King is like, "All right, look, I'll challenge you before you challenge anybody else, but it's not going to be a physical bout. It's going to be a challenge of understanding, and what the understanding is understanding loss." Well, I mean, did we really even need to get to this next data page to see how that was going to go for Iska?
Hey, listen. I love character development. I love character development, and you and I both talked about this. You more so than I. The Fisher King and his ability to move people, inspire people to do better. Like he might not consider the power something like in what we would consider the regular sense of the word, but he has gotten people, including Iska, as we are about to see, to reach beyond themselves. Can I use that terminology? Reach beyond themselves, want to be better than who they are. We've seen them take on the machine. We've seen them take on Uranus. And right now, he's causing Iska to battle herself over understanding what loss truly is. Hey,
No,
I love the character development. I love the character development for her to even drop to her knees, like for the author to write that, and then for the artist to say the realization that comes upon her is going to be so profound. She's going to drop to her knees, and we see at the bottom of the page she does have a tear come out of her eye.
mm-hmm.
She understands what loss is and how she may not ever be able to, how can I put it? She understands what loss is from afar to the point where she understands she's never truly experienced loss, if I can say that.
Sure, sure. I guess the only thing I push back on is in terms of her. Well, you know what? We're gonna read it. We're gonna read it. We're just gonna get into it with the data page. So this is the closest thing we're going to get to an explanation of Iska's powers, I think, as you possibly can get. And it's a pretty good explanation, right? It
Mm-hmm.
kind of takes her through her origin, through her life, growing up as a kid. Before her mutant powers manifested, she was a short, scrawny kid, always losing, but she had grit, right? And then she started winning, and it started happening so much it became a novelty. And then it takes you through, her sister meeting up with Apocalypse and being her first general, and then the demons of Amos show up and Annihilation and all that, and she fights them for a millennia, and then what happens, right? So all of a sudden, Iska had beaten so many of the Amenth horde, right? She had slain so many of them. Annihilation comes to the gates and starts sending messages to Genesis. Right now, she want to parlay. Now she's trying to get word to Genesis to talk. Why? Well, as we learned in last week's issue about Genesis, she ruled with a very tight leash. She's very paranoid. She ruled with a very very stern arm. So a lot of what was happening over there with Annihilation, Genesis was sympathetic. She was sympathetic, and she knew, meaning Iska, that when those whispers start getting back to her, that ultimately she would pray victim to it. In that explanation, in that explanation, I feel like they're defining her powers as predictive and not necessarily they take control of her and make her do something. No, she feels it almost like a spider sense. And in that sense, remember, it became a novelty. It's who she is. That is her mutant power. To deny that is to deny her power. To go against that is to go against her power. I think it also clears up that thing about Robert DaCosta. He didn't actually kill Tarn, but he set up the parameter so that Iska couldn't be on his side, which would make them lose, which would
Right.
make Magneto lose, essentially. So
Right.
you put him squarely on the other side of him. Iska can never lose. Distraction created, Tarn dead. I think that's kind of how that worked. At least based on the explanation here. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but that's kind of what I took from it.
I think it's still one of, as much as that, I think Iska is an incredible character. And I think they've given her an incredible ability. I think they don't know how to explain it, and they're doing their best. And they're, as much as they're trying to explain it, if we look at it and go back to what was it, House of X, Pen of X, she easily disposed of Betty Braddock. Okay. Um, then
Oh,
we
Ten of
get
Swords. Ten of
yeah,
Swords.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Ten of Swords.
Yep.
She easily disposes of Betty Braddock, and we see in Ten of Swords there are a lot of little games, harmless games that she plays and everything like that. She never loses. Then we see her again after Ten of Swords. We it wasn't X-Men Red, then it was X Factor. We're looking at that, and she snapped Roberto DaCosta's neck. I ain't forgetting that one. She just snapped his neck like it was nothing.
Mhm.
I'm looking at her power set, and then I'm like, okay, and you just slice. We never saw what you did to slice old girl's head off. You just did a clean cut too, by the way. So I'm guessing you had you had some type of heating knife when you sliced her neck and everything, because when no blood dripping nowhere. Um, and then, next thing I know, Nightcrawler port you away, and you snap his arm for no damn, well, I ain't gonna say for no damn reason. And then we see you in the water, and I'm assuming you survived that encounter with that big ass fish, because that was a big ass fish. Clearly, you don't lose.
Okay. Here
So
it is. I think you just explained it.
look, help me help
No,
myself.
no, no. We got it. It's both of ours. She got a sixth sense,
Mhm.
and her sixth sense is winning. Right? So whatever reflex has to be activated to make sure that she wins, whether that's breaking an arm, cutting off a head, or tucking tail and running away from your oldest sibling, it's a reflex. Kind of how like Spider-Man feels the spider sense and just jump anywhere, a fall, hit a split, do whatever he need to get out of the way. That's what it is. It's a sense, and that
Right.
sense connects to whatever it is she needs to do to be on the winning side.
And I
Whether
think
that's making a certain decision, whether that's doing something physically, it corrects her course to make sure she's in the winning position.
right. And the reason why I say she realizes what she does and that she's never really been in control of power. Remember when she was talking to Aurora and they kept asking her why she didn't vote? And it was like she didn't vote because she would influence the outcome. I think there is, I don't want to say a sense of remorse because this is what we're talking about, but I do believe there's a understanding that she truly does not understand what it is to lose, what it means to lose, whether it's because she's been, how can I put it, whether she's been responsible for her powers activated or whether her powers are being activated on her own. She's never taken responsibility for winning. She's bragged about it. She's boasted about it. But she's boasting about it because it's her mutant abilities, not because she's earning those victories. So that realization is what the Fisher King put on her, my opinion. You are a byproduct of your powers. If it wasn't for your powers, who are you really?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's just me.
true. The only thing she could really say that she lost, right, is Tarn.
That's it.
Like, and according to this data page, that was a legitimate loss. It's weird how it happened. It's like, oh yeah, I switched sides, threw all my people in jail, and fell in love. Okay, that's that's strange, but yeah, she was actually in love with Tarn.
I don't get that, but okay. Hey,
We gonna have to see a backstory book on that one, cause
well, I mean, you know what? You know we don't. Tarn a bad boy. Tarn a bad boy. And don't they like them bad boys?
bad girls like bad boys.
He a thug. He a whole thug out here in these streets. That's what she
I
want.
guess. I guess. Okay, so we get down to the conclusion that Iska don't know shit about Lost and she got to get her ass up out of here, basically, right? She got to go. Um, she basically tells everyone, "I'm out. Don't follow me, or I'll cut your head off. I might slay all of you yet." I think were her. Oh, I may kill all of you yet. Were her exact words, right? So we get a little bit of deliberation here at the very end between the Great Ring. Or Serta is not going to dissolve the night seats. Robert DaCosta promises to operate from the shadows and not to interfere. And the biggest thing well, not the biggest thing, second biggest thing that happens in this book is Storm gives up her regency. Didn't like it, didn't care for it, didn't feel like it needed to be happen, didn't feel like it honored Magneto to give up her regency.
Did
But
you,
she does
did
take
you,
over the seat of loss.
your voice went up a little bit. Not that it went high. You just raised the volume. Did you say honor? I mean, you just
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, no, it just it did
Yeah.
not honor, but she, I guess she does in a way. In a way, she does because she takes over the seat of loss and Magneto stay. I would have liked to see Storm, do more, except for fight for her legitimacy while she was Queen of Mars or Regent of Mars, however we wanna put it. But because I got a feeling ain't nobody gonna be calling Lotus Lagos to the ring every week. You know what I'm
It,
saying? Like I just got a feeling like that's not about to be how it's gonna go. And
it's
and, and she spent more time fighting to make people think that she was legit than she did ruling.
well. Let's look at let's spin this in real world. So Storm Aurora Monroe is from um Krakoa, right? We're not gonna call them peaceful, but they are peaceful people when it comes to the Arakas. Well, we see this play out in real life situation where you can have somebody come over and mean the best to another group, another society, and they not be receptive to it, even though they mean absolutely the best and everything like that. So then you find yourself having to prove yourself over and over and over and again. And watch this. Marcus, it wears on you after a while. So when you Moini. So when it wears on you and everything like that, you have to think about who you are and are you being true to yourself? She questioned herself during this whole time frame that she was to reach it, because while the world views her as a goddess, that's never really who she's really seen herself as. She see her as someone who's there for the people. Like, she prays, I don't want to say she prays to the people, but she acknowledges that there's somebody else over her. So her wanting to be the end all say all, I don't think that ever sat right in her spirit. Magneto has deterred from that. We saw Magneto shift away from that when he moved to Mars and everything like that. Oracle had his house. He had pieced himself out. Well, if she's going to honor him, the Regency seat ain't it. It's not.
It makes sense. I didn't say it didn't make sense. I just said I wanted to see her be there longer, you know?
Yeah.
That's all. I like to see her in the book is all, you know? I hope she still is, but
because she did fight a lot. I do. I get what you're saying. I get why you're saying it. She did fight a lot. And no, we both know Loris Lagos is not going to be called to the ring for a challenge. He not, but watch this. He ain't gonna get challenged as much as Tarn got challenged.
well, they hated Tarn.
Yeah.
But damn, so, if he wasn't right up there with Storm in terms of who they challenged the most, that's crazy.
So
damn. You got a whole enemy estate out here, and he getting challenged just as much as your queen.
So
I think we can't get right nowhere, Theo. We can't get right nowhere.
We gonna spend it. I think Mars Oracle will spin forward. I think we'll see, especially with the Fisher King being there. I don't want to say we'll see a more diplomatic Oracle. I think Oracle will still be that place you don't want to run up on, but I think they will be a more civil place. I'll just say that they'll be a more civil place than what they are right now.
For sure. All right, so biggest thing that happens in this book, finally got to it. We're going to show up at the Keep, that's Sword Station 2, and we get a quick little peek in here to a conversation between Cable and WAKANDA. About damn time. So Cable clearly called in his marker for WAKANDA electrocuting him, and they have found a way to kind of track Abigail Brand without her really knowing. Every time you die, apparently, or every time she dies, she got some secret files sitting away to get her apprised of what moves she's been making, this, that, and the third, right? So now, as she's been rebooted, now she's logging into her shit, and they looking right back after her, and Cable is incensed. My question is, do you take this to the Quiet Council if you're Cable? Because I feel like you're kind of playing with fire right now. You can keep it to yourself and be who you know you are, Cable, and handle it. Or you can put some apparatus behind you so that if you get kidnapped by Orcus or some crazy something like that, we didn't just lose, one of our most powerful telepaths and teleporters, I guess, to Orcus to test on and create new technology off of. You know what I mean? Maybe put something behind you. I mean, even if you don't tell everybody, pick somebody on the council that you trust, let them know what you're doing, and then, go through it. But I feel like if he goes on it on his own, that's asking to get captured or something like that.
You ready? This gonna sound way too simple, especially since I ain't had both of them in my life. I'm telling my mom and my dad, your mama is an Omega level telepath, telekinetic. Your daddy, before he renounced his seat, was considered the all captain. Like, everybody had to answer to him out in the field. Like, damn how long you been an X-Man, damn how old you are, damn whether or not you come from the future, alternate timeline or what. I run stuff. See, your dad is watch this. Your dad is a military strategist. Ain't his dad the one that told Logan to put together X-Force because we need y'all to handle some stuff sometimes we can't handle? Yeah. That was him, right? Go tell your daddy. Go tell your mama and your daddy. Forget the fact that they your mama and daddy. Just their job description alone.
And you know what? You know what I was what just came to me in one of the A.X.E issues, I think it might have been 2 or 3, right after they wiped out one of the sword stations, they was rebooting Abigail Brand, and Xavier was holding her there. He wasn't giving her information back. He was just holding her. Do you think that is somehow connected to that paranoid look Charles was having in the circle by himself, or in the circle, in
Remember when
the quiet council room where he was by himself? Magneto was talking, so maybe he's seen already what Brandon's up to. He's paranoid because Orchis has infiltrated Krakoa, and now he's thinking about, oh shit, what I gotta do, what I gotta do, what I gotta do.
Well, watch this. I wouldn't say he absolutely knows something, but what I will say is this. We know Cable came out of an egg, and the first thing he told Hope Summers was to make sure he had something in his arm where he couldn't be tracked. So, and then you and I go back to X Factor. What's the brother's name and everything like that? Manifold. He don't trust. So it's unraveling. I doubt we'll get probably
I
bits and pieces.
forgot we've been playing this game that long. I forgot he went and talked to Manifold like issues ago. I forgot about that. You're right. So he may already have it intact. He may be ready to move like right now. He just needed a confirmation.
As a matter of fact, remember that issue where Cable and John Proudstar were acting like they was
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was like X-Men Red number 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, they own her. They own her.
Yeah.
They own her. So it's like now they're just going through the verification phase. Now the thing is, we know Cable is a hothead and everything else. So when you ask the question, should he go rush in alone or should he go? No, go tell your mom and your dad. Go tell your mom and your dad. Your mom and your dad have been through stuff like this. They know what to do. Go tell your mom and your dad.
Hey man, I know there are older comic book fans than me, and y'all probably just used to this. I think it is so weird that they have persisted with this idea that this is old man Cable, and he be talking to his dad and his mom, who are like 20 years his junior. It is just it's so off-putting. Like Teenage Cable wasn't the greatest book, but it felt so natural to me. It was just like, okay, now this makes sense. My brain can wrap around it. It is so off-putting to me for this old man to be calling Scott Summers dad. It is so off-putting every time.
Listen, imagine you have a son. I have daughter. I could not imagine one of my daughters coming back looking like my grandmama talking about, hey dad. Whoa, wait.
Yeah, well, excuse me?
No, I don't even know how this is supposed to go right now. Am I answering to you or you answering me? Because I'm not gonna feel comfortable telling you what to do.
So that is X-Men Red number 7. Let me check the comments here for a second, see who we got in the building. Oh man, okay. All right, we're going crazy. I see you. Ronnie J, what up? What's going on? Ruben Thompson, what's up? Pert Minded in the building.
Oh, Pert Minded. Pert Minded.
Byron Smith, what's going on? D Steezel, what's up? Nico Bean, what up, dog?
Nico Bean with the steam.
Ashura, hey, keep it kosher. Ashura, you be wildin'. Keep it kosher.
Is the Komoyo
you gotta watch Ashura.
Listen,
wildin'.
Him and Komoyo, if Komoyo in there, because look, they gonna get it started.
D Steezel says X-Force is his favorite X-Men team. Cable's one of his favorites. I like Cable as a character. I do. I like him on X-Men Red for sure because it adds another militant mind that's also a dynamic character. So I like the fact that he's hunting Brand. X-Force, I continue to buy that book, and I've just completely accepted that the Percyverse is self-contained and that he don't like to play ball with everybody else. So if you're taking it for what it is, then yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Right. That and Wolverine, if you read those in tandem, but it's not doing anything for the title itself for X-Men altogether. Because every time you look up, they popping out on events like they do not play ball. They haven't really played ball since Ten of Swords. Ever since then, they've been self-contained, at least, with Benjamin Percy for sure.
I think, and that's been like one of my biggest problems with the best way I can say it is that was my biggest problem with the last season of Black Light.
Okay.
You can't have somebody be a part of a big universe and we not see them. You exclude them. They just off doing their own thing. Like right now, we know all the mutants for the most part are on Krakoa. How you not interacting with somebody?
Sure.
How you ain't showing up? So I've never been a fan of that type of writing. I never have. I get it. Different characters have to have their own stories, but it takes nothing for somebody to come through every now and then and say, "Hey man, y'all leaving again? Dang, we barely talk." Like that would make a running joke within the story itself.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so next one we got to review up is gonna be Death to the Mutants, number 3. Got Emma Frost on the cover there, writing Sin, one part of the Hex. I mean, or at least
Yeah,
that's what she's going by to Sally. It's another weird part of these books, man. That whole conversation with the Hex Eternal and the chick he was
right.
texting with.
The teenage Hex.
Yeah. All right, so let's crack this one open. So we start on this book, roughly same timeline. I think a little bit further though. So this is after they've already been judged. Everybody's already been judged. Thumbs down. Let's start the doomsday clock, right?
Right.
So they do take you through all of the prior steps that had already been going through. They're talking about, all right, we've been judged down. What do we do? This is at the point of the assault, right? They're gonna try to go in, hit the node, and blow it up. This is the second time that they did it. So not the dream sequence, but when they actually geared up to go back in and they got Iron Man and those guys inside. Um, they get well. Let's not jump too far ahead here. So you do get an actual conversation between Zurus, the former Prime Eternal,
Right.
and Eros, Star Fox, the new Prime Eternal. And he starts walking him through the plan. He's like, "Hey, look, we just gonna hit it again. We just gonna smack it over the head again." He's like, "We literally cannot do that, right? Because Zurus is not privy to what happened to get Durig out of his Prime Eternal seat,
Right.
right? He's not aware that the X-Men, or excuse me, the mutants in general, the telepaths, are able to unlock that part of the Eternal psyche to take control of it. I guess essentially having a remote control to an Eternal is what it was. What it looks like.
Right. Right.
But only this time they're going to be using Emma Frost to try and help them get in there. So they're gonna have a much more powerful set with her and the cuckoos, right? That should work out well, right? Absolutely not. They get absolutely washed. Absolutely washed. But we already knew that from the past books. A lot of this is rehashing what happened in the event already, but it's just showing it from the other's perspective. See, when we read this in the Axe book, we just seen everybody get washed at the same time. We
Right.
seen everybody come together, and then everybody got washed at the same time. So now you're actually looking into how it all went down piece by piece, right? Sin gets blasted into the earth, back to resurrection protocols for her, back to the machine. Icarus ends up sacrificing himself so Cersei can get away. But it's real treacherous out here, man. It's really interesting to see some of these more powerful characters being outmaxed. But then again, they are fighting a celestial made by Tony Stark.
I mean, aside from the fact, yeah, aside from the fact that the Celestial is made from Tony Stark, because why did we do that? I think this is the perfect representation of how powerful a Celestial is. Because for the longest time, we've had them like they going up against the Stone Age Avengers. I don't know why every time somebody say Stone Age Avengers, I think of the Flintstones, but nevertheless, that's neither here nor there. But we've never really gotten how powerful a celestial is. So to see a celestial, oh, I'm running phase through everybody. And we know what power level the Eternals are supposed to be. Like every Eternal is supposed to be essentially a Superman. I like the story being like this. I like
Yeah,
it. You get to see it like that.
sure, for sure. So now, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were talking about this at first, and he first judged them thumbs down, right? I was like, "What's taking so long?" Because see, in the dream, immediately it was like explosion. Ooh, you know
Right.
what I mean? It was like right now, everybody done for, and it seemed to be happening slower. So I was asking, like, what's what's happening now? Like now that they've actually been judged, what's taking so long? You start to find out that the machine itself is resisting the progenitor. You see, the Eternals are coded through their, through their three laws or whatever, to protect Celestials, right? But the machine is not an Eternal. The machine makes Eternals, right? And its second directive, after the second law, after defending Celestials, second principle, sorry. What is it? Second principle: protect the machine. I'm not an Eternal, so I don't answer to the first principle. I answer to the second one: protect the machine. So that kind of gives me some clarity as to why this doomsday is taking so damn long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's having an effect, right? He is able to hurt the machine, and the reason why that's a big deal is because now the resurrection is in jeopardy, right? You just lost Icarus, you just lost Sin, and you can't bring him back. You lost. Who else did you lose? You lost Gilgamesh. You lost. What's the dude with the knives? Um,
Jack the look.
Jack of Knives. The Jack of Knives. Jack of Knives is his name. Thank you. You down a few. You down a couple in a spare.
Anyway,
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
no, I was just saying same thing. Both was using blades, but it wiping out a lot of powerful characters. Like
And can't bring them back right now. We don't have Arbor Magna. We only got a few amount of eggs, and we're gonna talk about why a lot of them is gone when we touch on this last book. But so everybody's resurrection is messed up right now. So some of these losses is gonna be felt. Icarus ain't coming back no time soon.
and see, that's why I keep going back to it. I'm like, you know what this feel like to me? This feel like to me like, okay, I'm reading the book, Crisis on Infinite Earths. We knew going in they wanted to kill somebody. When I say we, I mean fans. We knew they wanted to kill off somebody. It was just a question of who it was. Okay, a lot of people don't know it was supposed to be Supergirl. Fans was upset about that. That's why Barry Allen took a long dirt nap. So it's one of those people you just know it's certain characters because of who they are. They not fishing to kill off for an extended period of time. No different than I think it wasn't Final Crisis. It was Crisis Revisit or something like that. DC wanted to kill off Nightwing, Dick Grayson. Fans was like, oh no, that's not what you're gonna do. You find somebody else for you kill off Dick. That's why the Superman clone, the young Superman clone, he took a dirt nap for a minute. So it's like I'm looking at certain characters, and some characters it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. It fits the storyline. I go back to it. It does not pull on me emotionally because Icarus is one of the prime Eternals. You're not gonna have him gone for an extended period of time. He gonna come back. You know, Wolverine when he died, that was a prime example. Wolverine wasn't gonna be gone long. Stop. Wolverine, really? Y'all gonna kill him? Stop that. You gonna take him off the
I guess we'll just have to see. We just gonna have to see how the rest of
yeah.
The Jesus, why can't I talk? The event plays out. But I will say this though: if they do all this work just to bring everybody back in one snap of a celestial, how was that different than any event that y'all have already done ever? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm just telling. Anytime they start killing off major characters, we as readers have to take into consideration how popular the character is. Barry Allen had Wally West sitting right there. So Barry go, you slide Wally right in, right? Well, Superman. Okay, well, we was trying to introduce some characters to the world, but we had no plans of this being long term. Same thing with Batman. This is Icarus. Who are the Eternal Captain America? Like, I'm prepared to see minor characters disappear that never got really any type of real shine. They might not ever come back. But the major characters that they killing off, no. Alfred coming back at some point. They just need everybody they need more people to say, we finna go stop reading Batman so y'all bring Alfred back. But Alfred will be back soon.
So, quick shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all being here with us. If you do have any questions about any of the books that we're discussing right now or anything comic book related, just even if it's not a question, even if it's just a statement, toss it up and we'll definitely get to it in between books. So the progenitor is working on the machine, right? Trying to get it to come to heal. While they got some spare time, that's when the heroes take advantage of it and they start to enact Plan B. So this is the plan that I think we see happening in is it X-Men? X-Men tie into this? Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in.
I think so. I think we get to see the egg with Captain America's shield come in.
Sure. Well, that was at the end of
yeah.
That was at the end of the last Judgment Day book when Captain America was coming out. I think that they start talking about this plan though. In any case, whatever. Right? That's where we're at. Is they're gonna go back for real this time. Right? But they need a distraction.
Right.
And so that's where Captain America's whole, blow me up thing comes from. Who else? Oh, Phastos. Phastos gets tasked with the job of breaking the connection between the progenitor and the machine so that they can actually get in there.
Dog, right? Look like he's great. Look like he's been there for, I say Phastos look like he's been working out since
Yeah, no, man, Phastos is a beast. Like he's built like, sexual orientation aside, they didn't really do him justice in the Eternals, man. Like, why you got him out? Like, come on, man. Like, that's your opportunity to pop out on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I've been working. I got me a personal trainer. Marvel got me right. You feel me? That's what I was waiting on. Shoot.
This. People think when I be saying certain stuff, I be trying to be hard. It's like, no, look at what has come before you. When you have an actor that looks kind of doughy, get geeked up, you get more action roles. Now you getting roles already, regardless of how you look, because guess what? You can act.
You're a good actor. You're a good actor.
I'm not going to take that away from you. But what more roles could you get if you looked a certain type of way? Because you right now, they only looking at you to fill a certain role.
They even got Ant-Man looking somewhat in shape. He
right,
don't look like a bodybuilder. He at least look like a CrossFit trainer or something. You know what I mean?
Even Chris Hemsworth took time off from a movie. He was in shape, but he's like, you know what? I'm not even doing that no more. Y'all gonna put fat suit on me. So it ain't like you gotta stay like that all the time. But
is that what that was about?
Hmm?
Is that the origins of Fat Thor? Like he just didn't want to work out no more, and that's how that came about.
Man, listen, it take a lot to get into that type of shape. Like people, that's a whole lifestyle thing. Yeah. He's a man. You know what? Trying to be doing that.
We off the rails right now, but that's why I know that Hugh Jackman got paid an unholy amount of money to play Wolverine again because he was so honest. He'd just tell you, look, man, I hate doing that shit. I hate it. I hate the calorie cutting. I hate dehydrating myself so my skin will get tight like a turkey. You know what I mean? I don't like it.
I don't know if people will be able to Google the actress that Chris Pratt used to be married to. They got a divorce. But one of the things she didn't like about it was one of the things he loved about her was her cooking. So when he started having to get in shape, he no longer could eat the foods she was cooking. He didn't like it. She didn't like it. So it's one of them things where like, man, come on, man. It's a lot to be said. When you go get in these shapes and everything like that, now here we go, Jonathan Majors. Now I'm not gonna say nothing, but what I will say is this. You ready? And I'm not gonna say who said it because I don't want anybody saying anything to them. But somebody said to me, they said, Jonathan Majors, his face don't match his body. And they were talking about Creed 3.
What that mean? Like he got a nice face, or what like he has an unassuming face?
He got a nice body, and Michael B. Jordan's face looked like it matches his body.
Oh, okay, I got it. I get it.
I'm looking at Jonathan Majors and thinking like, bro, that's what you doing? Damn. So when you look at it, what allows Jonathan Majors to get the roles that he's getting? He's a phenomenal actor, but he can do other stuff because of his build. We're not just gonna have him walking back and forth, saying lines and everything like that. No, we're gonna have him put some hands on some people.
Sure.
It opens him
He's
up
able
to
to play an action star, is what you're getting
right.
at. Yeah.
And that's what I would considering Brian Tyree Henry coming from Atlanta. I would like, because you can act, you was in a whole Godzilla movie and everything like that. I would like to see you not just be the dude where we just want to make fun of, call Paperboy, or you a side character to what's the boy named? The boy that married, broke up with Jennifer Aniston and married whatchamacallit, Brad Pitt. You
Brad
don't have
Pitt.
to. I don't want to see Mike. I don't want to see Brian Tyree as the side character to Brad Pitt. I want to see Brian Tyree Henry play the spy, and not a spy in a comical role, because we've seen that before. No, play the action hero where you putting hands on people. Because what brothers do we have out there not putting hands on people? I ain't saying, I'm just saying, like, bro, go get your money. Don't let them pigeonhole you, and do not have them make you a walking, talking stereotype. That role in the Eternals was a walking, talking stereotype that did not have to be. But we,
Kind of have to agree. Kind of got to agree. But all right, so Fastos is going to break the connection with the machine and the progenitor to get them. They're able to get to that node, right? Um, Interesting little tidbit here. I've been teasing it a little bit, but Kurt does mention in the conversation with Fastos, he teases a certain enemy that the mutants have that stayed out of the fray noticeably.
mm-hmm.
And he thinks that she may be the key, or, well, damn, I might have spoiled it, that they might be the key to helping them beat the progenitor, right? They may be the thing that gets them over the hump. So he's going to do that, and it's going to pop up in something we mentioned after this book, but I thought that was worth mentioning. You see a lot of crossover,
Right.
crossover story building between these books. And honestly, I got to tip my cap to Kieron Gillen, because he's writing like 3-4 books right now in this event. So that bodes well if you're going to be, keeping everything together. But he's doing a good job. I mean, you could easily see this going wrong, where he got his head in too many places, trying to write too many narratives, trying to keep up with too many different storylines, too many plot threads, and stuff gets loose. And this has
What
been a
if I told
very, very tight event, I feel like.
What if I told you he was writing one big novel featuring a whole bunch of characters, right? And he's
Mhm.
just chopping each section up and just putting a different title on.
Oh, the Judgment Day omnibus is gonna be about this thick. It's
You
gonna
know
be
what I'm
about
saying?
that thick. It's gonna be $100, and I'm gonna be sick.
I don't think he's writing it like, well, I'm gonna write this kind of book. No, I think he's just writing one long story. I could be wrong, but I think he's writing one long story, and he's taking parts like, okay, Judgment Day 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be Judgment Day. Maybe to him, it's Judgment Day, X-Men Red 7 to us. But to him, that's probably A.X.E Part 15.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying. And then the next book, when he get to Part 16, it's a continuation of the story, but that might be Death to the Mutants. You feel what I'm saying? He's writing to me because, and I'm not gonna say this, but I can, because I've written a book. When you're writing a story and you're transitioning through chapters, each chapter could actually be its own standalone story.
Mm-hmm.
You just, whether you put a number here or put a character's name over there or a title here, each chapter to a book could be basically its own little short story. And comic books are short stories. So I'm thinking, like I said, I could be wrong. I'm thinking he just wrote this as one big old long story, which is, and the only reason I say that, to write multiple stories at different times would just drive you crazy and have stories all over the place. The
That's what
simplest thing,
I'm thinking. Like that sounds like a recipe to get turned
yeah,
around.
one person just write out the whole entire story at the end of a chapter. That chapter is the end of that particular book. A new chapter starts a different book, different title, and that's how he's writing. That's just what I think he's doing.
Cool. Cool. So, if we jump forward a little bit here, Sin, the the Eternal, 1/5 of the Hex, the
Right.
the Fire Eternal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
actually survives the explosion at the resurrection engines, right? She gets out and she tries to make contact with the last person she remembers, which is Exodus, because Exodus kills himself and in the process kills her in the last X-Men Red, I want to say, or Last Judgment Day, one of those. Um, and the reason why is because now, just like we said in the beginning of the book, the mutants are going to be unlocking or at least alleviating the Eternals from their duty to the first principle. And
Right.
so, who better to help me, one of the most powerful Eternals, than one of the most powerful telepaths still alive and not currently inside of a Celestial? Because it would probably be Jean Grey first, but he's indisposed. So, another mutant circuit, pretty much, basically, with an Eternal and a mutant,
Mm-hmm.
another mutant circuit.
Listen, I'm liking Sign. Can I say I like Sign the Minotaur? The Minotaur? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do with her, but I need her not to go away. Like,
Yeah.
I like her. I don't want her going nowhere.
I don't know what they're gonna do with her after this. I mean, she's like a kaiju monster, so it's like it's gonna be off-putting to see her very often.
Right.
But you know, I wouldn't mind seeing that character again. Let's see what else. What else? I didn't have that much left on this book. Oh, so Fastos goes to Lymeria, the capital of the Deviants Nation, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
goes back to a site where a Celestial previously judged them, kind of how like Makari and Ajax and Iron Man went back to the thumbprint in London from when Orisham was there. Does the same thing here in Lymeria, only this one is a gateway. It opens a gateway to the machine. It's like a back door.
Right.
Gets past those there, and eventually he ends up having to factory reset the machine. Now, if you read Eternal books, you know the dialogue in this book is usually the machines. It's kind of like a de facto narrator. So getting all the history, getting all of the backstories that we got from the machine, the personality that it showed, right? Because this thing has been alive as long as the Earth has been alive. It's seen everything, it's done everything, it's all knowing, it's omnipresent. So basically, they wiped everything, like Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 3, setting back to factory settings. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a big deal for this book, especially if you follow Eternal books. That's a big deal.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. That's that hurt that everybody can relate to. Don't nobody want to set nothing back to factory resetting. Nobody want to do that. You don't want to
Nothing.
do it with your phone. You don't want to do that with your game system. You don't want to do that with your tablet, your laptop, your computer. Nobody wants to hit factory reset on anything.
Machine act like it don't know you at all. It's doing the wrong predictive things in your search web and your search engines and stuff. It's just all messed up.
So when he's sitting down like that right there,
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
And then you
I
gotta
be
think about it, yeah, because Fastos has been the conductor of the machine for as long as I've been reading Eternals comics. I think he's always been the tech guy, right? He's always been the one that can talk to the machine. So,
yeah.
whew, yeah, that
But
sucks.
I'd be hurt over that one too. Yeah, I would be.
Let's check into the comments to see what's going on. What's going on, Nick Jenkins? All right, D. Steezel was specifying on what he likes in terms of X-Force. It was the 90s, 2000 through 2010, or excuse me, 2008 through 2010 X-Force, 10 through 12 Uncanny X-Force runs are his favorite. Comic Fastos is Jack like Luke Cage. No, for real. Like how? I mean, he's shaped like a comic book character. I don't know why he couldn't get that in the movie.
He said Mac from Agents of Shield would have been a great Fastos,
Yeah,
and
Fastos.
he's not wrong.
I like the dude that played Mac and Agents of Shield for that show.
Yeah,
I feel like if they gave him any more than what they gave him to do, it would have got a look, because it was already a little cringe hearing him work his way through his dialogue. Sometimes he's a bit of an over actor. I just don't know how that would have played in a major motion film. But I mean, he's an okay actor. I can't say he's bad.
I can't even say you're wrong because I seen he was on a show back in the day on ABC on the Blue Shield, the Blue something. He was a actor on. He's a good actor, but you know that deep baritone voice, and then you know his acting style. Yeah, like I said, I think Brian Tyree. I think he could have done it. I just would have wanted him to get in the shape that he was supposed to. You know, I would have preferred for them not to cast that character, write that character like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very least, you getting into that type of shape, I believe would have done wonders for his acting career. I believe he would have been offered roles that he probably wouldn't be, that he's probably not going to be offered. You know, so that's just me. But like I said, I could be wrong, but I am one of the people that pay to go see these movies, and I know what I want to see in them. So
Sure. Sure. So I've been teasing a little bit that there was something interesting that happened in another book that is not on our docket for tonight, but I still wanted to mention it because it's important, right? So Immortal X-Men #7 came out. I can't remember. It was either this week or last week. But it's some interesting stuff that goes on in here. It's more the same of them rehashing what was going on during the time when they, you know, they did the initial attack on the progenitor. They got judged,
right.
thumbs down, all that kind of stuff, right? So right after Kirk has the conversation with Fastos, I'm assuming because it seems how it lines up here. He in this book in Immortal X-Men, that's where he goes, Theo. He goes to the Orcus Forge because I've been noticing, as we said in the you know the review of Death of the Mutants,
Mm-hmm.
there is an enemy who's been noticeably quiet through all of this. The entire Earth is fighting for their lives, humans included, and Orcus is just sitting up there with their fingers crossed, twiddling their thumbs, staying out the fray. Nah, player. You know what that tells me? You got a way to keep yourself safe. You got a way to protect yourself. So let me go ahead and find out what it is so we can protect everybody.
Right.
So, Kurt, being, you know what? Kurt Wagner, I never really saw Nightcrawler as being like a very, I won't say likable, but pushable character. Like I didn't feel like I would ever be picking up comics where I feel like
Oh
Kurt
man.
Wagner, Nightcrawler, is carrying the plot forward. And he's doing
Listen,
that on multiple books right now. He's doing it on Legion of X. He's doing it in Immortal X-Men as we looking at it right now. And he's doing it in the Judgment Day books. He's one of the main guys.
I think I want to say it was when they took on. Shoot, I want to make sure I say this dude's name right. Um, dang, Arcade. They took on Arcade, and Arcade, you know, Kurt had this thing at one point in time where he could only teleport where he could see. And so Arcade had captured all the X-Men. It was either Arcade or Doctor Doom, somebody, Beast Diesel, Mr. Ray Smith, or Be Real or D Real is gonna come tell me. It might have been Doctor Doom Arcade, but it was somebody that had him where he couldn't see. And he took a leap of faith, literally, and he teleported as high as he could, and he was outside the dungeon. Kurt always has had and considered himself a swashbuckler. You know, that's why when you look at the action figure, it comes with a sword and everything like that. Well, when he came back, because everybody really didn't look at him like the dude that would put hands on you, he's got that prehensile tail. He's like, okay, well, I am a swashbuckler. Errol Flynn, I think, is his favorite actor. That's a real actor, but in the comics, in the real world, Errol Flynn used to do a lot of swashbuckling movies back in the day, black and white movies. Kurt is not the dude. It's because of his religious faith, because of his faith and his confidence in himself ever since that story arc. No, you don't. Kurt is a man of conviction. That's what I think me and you talked about it. We was like, this dude teleported Wolverine. They went to the sun.
Together.
And he ain't bad an eye. Let's go.
Yeah.
So he's been an interesting character to me. I can't speak for anybody else. He's been an interesting character for a long, long time. The thing is that in medium, whether it be cartoon or whether it be live action, he gets underplayed. So
Yeah, you know, to these studios, somebody has to, right?
Yeah, so
But so what he does is he teleports himself to the Orcus Forge, right? And all of those extra eggs that we seen in the Avengers Mansion, right? When they was playing the hell out of crazy, and they was like, "Oh well, we just gonna do Captain America right now, and leave everybody else on standby." Well, we found out that those extra eggs in this book were being used to revive Kurt, so he could go to the Orcus Forge, get a layout of where everybody's at. They'll obviously kill him before he gets to Moira, but guess what? I'm coming back, and I'm gonna come back again. I think he does it 4 times. And the
mhm.
fourth time, he gets to her, hijacks her, takes her into to a Quinjet or whatever the X-Men's thing is. What is that? X-Jet, whatever, right? And starts flying her back to Earth because he's like, I think you got something that can help us fight this progenitor. So let's pretend we on the same side just for today to get this done. Because for whatever reason you sitting out here in orbit chilling, like you ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Well, we need some of that. We need some of that. And I'm thinking it has to do with something to do with her timelines. Something to do with her resetting the timeline. They're gonna be able to go back. Now that because now we getting back into this area of going ahead and bring everybody back in one fell swoop and nobody really died. And there was really no, lasting impact from this thing that you took 2 months of my spending power up doing. It don't mean nothing now, you know? So I do not want that middle finger. But if they can find a way to well, no, because I feel like anything involving her resetting the timeline is just gonna bring everybody back.
I'm gonna say it like this. This is Marvel Comics, and this has been one of the things that people have been complaining about when it comes to Marvel Comics. They don't do hard reboots; they do soft reboots. They don't do hard resets; they do soft resets. And that's generally what winds up happening when you write yourself into a corner you have no business writing yourself into.
Yeah.
So when you look at the fact that I say to myself, I touch these characters in various mediums. Okay, what comic book fans got the House of X, right? Okay. Movie fans didn't get nothing, right? Action figure fans got House of X action figures. Now, if you were a comic book fan who just also happened to be an action figure fan, you got Moria McTaggart. That's I think the first or second Moria McTaggart action figure, but that ain't really the Moria McTaggart action figure you want, right? And the Jean Grey action figure that they dropped had on that green mini dress. Anybody really on the action figures? So yeah, because your comics tie into your action figures, you're gonna bring somebody. You got to bring these people back, and then because of nobody really likes the Moria that you got out right. I don't. I'm not a fan of Moria McTaggart being a Stone Cold killer. You evolved her character, but you evolved her character when you made her a mutant. Marcus, are you a fan of her being a Stone Cold killer? Has that moved her one way or the other with you?
I don't think it's terribly consistent with where the character was going pre what was Jonathan Hickman's last event? Inferno.
Right.
So
Watch
pre
this.
Inferno, it was I don't think it made a whole lot of sense, but with him leaving, I don't think it gave the time that was supposed to be there to build that up. See,
Right.
it felt sudden because you saw Moira and obviously House and Powers. You seen her pop up in a couple different books here and there, X Force, X Men, a couple different times, but she was never a focal point of a book. So there was never any. All right, what is Moira doing while they're doing all this nation building? What are they doing while they're fighting Orcus and they're fighting well, damn, they ain't even talked about them. The dudes from X Force, the secret society of mutant killers over there, Xeno,
And watch how they
or
do.
the grannies or anything like that. So I feel like a lot of that time was wasted on other stuff that could have been focused on Moira and what was going on with her. She never got a book, and that's the problem. I don't know if that was just by nature of Hickman not wanting to get to it or what, but she just never got a build up to that villainy.
Even with them having her kill Banshee off panel,
Yeah.
Like you had her kill her boyfriend off panel, and it's like it's one of them things. Like, yeah, you're writing the story, but it's not fitting the character. Like
Yeah.
you want us to believe that she's a cold blooded killer, and we never see her get worked. I think you and I talked
The
about it. Like,
premise makes sense, right? The premise makes sense. The
right,
idea that she's lived 10 lifetimes trying to save these people and it never works. So the
right.
only thing she can think of in her mind, well, it don't make sense to me, but I guess you can put it together because in her mind, the only way to save them was to take away all of the things that made them them so that people wouldn't hate them. I guess I can understand that. Taking away the thing that people hate the most so that you can just live your life in peace.
But would she be mad at them about that though? That was like
Yeah,
she's
I
not
don't get, well, I don't think
just
she's
like
mad at
all
all
of them.
mutants. I think
Right,
she's mad at Charles and Magneto because from her perspective, she got snuffed out and they
right,
just let it happen.
right.
But she
I
like,
agree
well,
with
the
that.
hell with it. I'll just go with him now.
I don't believe she would have killed her boyfriend. Like she skinned him alive. Like I don't like that was me. I was like, I get you mad, but you literally put his face on the walker in the Krakoa. You killed your boyfriend. Wow,
Oh,
that's
Banshee. You talking about Banshee? Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's tough. You asking me to believe a lot, but I
I mean,
guess I don't.
they're following up on it in other books because she all the way hijacked Mary Jane Watson's body in the last couple of issues of well, I don't even know if it was the last couple of issues. It's like issue 8 of Amazing Spider-Man. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if they'd have given us a Moira book
Right,
and walked us how she got there. But it was like she's been gone through Dawn of X. She really been going through Reign of X, and then all of a sudden pop out an Inferno and she's the big bad. Which I I think that was two things. It felt off because there was no build up, and two, that was a signal that we were giving up on the whole man Warlock. What is his people's name? His organisms.
I know you. I know you're talking about. You got. I know you're talking about though.
The collectives and all that. The phalanx.
The phalanx. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that was the established big bad at the end of everything 10,000 years into the future. That was the established big bad,
I'm
and it
taking
was all go ahead.
Moya's turn to me was similar to Achilles. It came out left field. I'm just gonna say that that was her turn. Her turn. Her going. Well, I'm just bad now. That to me was similar to Achilles. Oh, you bad now? And you bad with you bad with passion. Like you ain't just mad. You big mad out of left field. Okay.
Sure, no, it wasn't earned. The hatred and the villainy wasn't really earned. Now I
Right.
feel like since she's become a cyborg, or a super sentinel, whatever you're calling her, that villainy has jumped because when she was on the run in what was that, X Lives of Wolverine or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it was more so out of fear. She's like, all right, the CIA after me, the mutants after me, I gotta go. And then she just so happened to fall into Orcus's arms. That was human Moira. And Wolverine kills her. She comes back as a cyborg. They put her consciousness into the cyborg, and now she's a murderous mutant killing machine.
I think if I had to look at it, Moira McTaggart, how they introduced her and everything like that, and they made where her and Charles had a child together, and then they, even though Banshee was her boyfriend, I get they were trying to make her more of an interesting character, making because House of X was when we first learned she was mutant. So
Mhm.
to me, that was enough character evolution ended up at the like we didn't have to take these extra steps because she was a human for so long. You had her be a mutant for like us realized she had been a mutant for like over 2 years, and now she's went from being a mutant to just as you said, a cyborg mutant killing machine. Like that's a lot of character development, and I don't necessarily know if it fits her character. I think the mutant thing was enough. Uh, I would have. I don't know. I think it's when you her mutant power is 9 lives, 10 if she plays it right. We don't know if she didn't play that 10th one right. Okay, they've taken away her mutant ability, but okay, Forge took away Aurora's mutant ability before. So what happens if we give her her mutant ability back?
Well, so it's that, and then they also got all the Moira clones that Sinister is holding up in his secret spot too. So
Yes,
do you even got to mess with her again? You could kill her and then wake up one of the clones.
I think it's one of the things where they've done so much with this particular Moira McTaggart. She's either going to be, you either got to kill her or she's just going to be evil, and you have it where the dynamic of whether she's going after the clone because the clone knows who she is and the clone knows some of her secrets. But I don't see this Moira McTaggart being able to be sustainable. No different than we saw the Goblin Queen as Jean Grey's replacement be sustainable. So
For sure, man. Let's see if we got anything in the comments before we get on this last Wakanda book here. I know that'll probably be a long one. Let's see. Mostly just a lot of what's up. So it looks like a conversation about DC and Marvel Comics has launched in the comments.
So yeah.
Steezel says, from my perspective, DC went downhill after their Rebirth launch, and Marvel went downhill after their all new, all different era posted growth. We were just talking about that, how they do soft reboots.
Right.
That was one of them.
Kamoyo Kid is in the building.
What up? What up? Black Claw 2, I see you. What's going on? Neo, what up? What up? Okay, all right. So let's start Wakanda. Pretty good cover, right?
Yeah, man, listen.
Pretty good cover.
We
They
had
with Michael B. Jordan version, Killmonger, shit.
right. We had a Shuri cover. I'm going to let y'all know, just full disclosure. Well, I'm not going to do full disclosure. I will just say that I have both the Shuri cover and the T'Challa cover. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting little map here in the beginning of Wakanda and the layout. The capital city, the burning zona, and everything around it.
If I may,
What's up?
this is called, I said, if I may, to me, this is a callback to Jungle Action, those Black Panther comic books. After the main story was over with, they would have a map overlay. Of course, it didn't have all this color. We're talking about the 60s, so don't do that. Don't do that. But to me, that is a callback. This is a callback to what they used to have in those Black Panther comic books back then. So I love seeing it open up like this. I did.
And you know what? It's a lot of that in this book, surprisingly, based off of the creative team. Stephanie Williams and Evan Narcisse have not been the biggest fans of T'Challa and his character. Just based off of things that we've heard them both say over the years about the character. So I'm surprised that they aren't, taking a hatchet to it like John Ridley and just completely, going against what's already been established. But they between that, the map and the opening page, annotations at the end, the little the Black Panther history that you get from Evan Narcisse part of the book, it's more than I could have expected, I guess.
Y'all need to go get this. Y'all need to go get this. Y'all need to go get this. I'm telling you right now. Marcus can tell me, Theo, you need to go pick up. You need to go pick up the Eternals. Y'all need. I'm not telling you to go pick up Black Panther by John Ridley. I'm not. But you need to go pick this up. Go pick this up. Don't play with
it. Question. So a couple pages in, we get a clip of Shuri examining Tosin, new character. They're looking at his physiology and talking about how she can synthesize the what does she call it? The biohybridized vibranium in his body.
Right.
And then Ramona comes in and basically accuses Shuri of gawking over Tosin. Is that the new couple? Not that I'm mad about it, right? If you gonna give Tosin and Shuri an actual relationship, I'm with it. But I mean, is that where they going with this?
I think because of the society that we live in, I think because they played footloose and fancy free with her sexuality for way too long, they did introduce Tosin for a reason. Don't know what that reason is, but they did introduce it for a reason. I'm here for it. I'm here for it if this is character development.
Yeah, I
Because
was about to say, if this is how you build up Shuri, that's adequate. Giving her a love interest, especially one that looked like her, right?
right.
And we're gonna able to see that grow
And let me
from
tell you something, man.
foe, former foe to loved one to
Right.
lover. That's
Let
a
me just
story
say,
I'm interested in.
because y'all looking at, listen, we just want Shuri's character to evolve. We not here saying we want her to be with a dude, we want her to be with a woman. We saying we just want her character to evolve. And considering this character been around for a long damn time, it is great to see the next step in her character evolution as far as she's interested in somebody, or at least somebody cares that she might be interested in somebody. So y'all pump
Not
y'all
gonna
brakes
lie,
before y'all.
thought it was gonna be Eden Vesey.
Yeah.
That's where I thought we was going with it. But hey, if it's Tosin, and then that in turn helps develop the Tosin character past this whiny, self-righteous country boy that he is right now, I'm not interested in that. So if we can pull him out of that and do something real with him and have him in a relationship with Shuri, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Manifold. Kamoyo Kid just asked if Shuri and Manifold were a thing. I don't think so, because I've never seen Manifold really claim her like that. I
See,
know he.
I didn't know. I feel like I saw them flirting in another book. That's why I thought they were a thing.
I know he and T'Challa went back to go get Shuri from the Djalia plane when she was you know, quote unquote dead from approximate midnight and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when they had the crew, I know Manifold was a part of that and everything. You never know. Listen, that Marvel, who know where Manifold at right now? Like, first of all, Manifold was in, in Black Panther with Ta-Nehisi Coates, and then after Ta-Nehisi Coates, he on Araco. So they don't know what they want to do with these characters, and this is
Hey
the
man,
stuff.
I swear to you, the only good parts out of the Colts run, these people, these writers, are allergic to touching it. The only good things, right? You had Eden Vesey popping up in there, so you had another, you know, out of setting character to tie back to Wakanda. You have the intergalactic empire. Somebody talk about how we have the most vast empire in all of the galaxy. Somebody please, someone
I
please
don't,
talk about it,
I don't
please.
even understand how he's no longer the king, but he's still a galactic emperor. Like
Hey, shout out to Al Ewing. Shout out to Al Ewing for solidifying that in canon, because if not him, it didn't seem like anybody else was gonna do it.
I, and you know what? Here we go. I'm gonna ask this question right here because you know what? Yes, I apologize. We're going off the rail. We're gonna come right back. I said,
We in the same box. We all right.
you know what? I compare a certain demographic to Skrulls. You know why I said that? Avengers, Earth Mightiest Heroes. When the Skrulls invaded, one of the Skrulls took over as Captain America. Sounded just like the dude, talked just like the dude and everything. Even got the Hulk to turn himself in. Everybody was listening to him. Everybody. He didn't possess the knowledge that Captain America did. He had a little bit of it. I mean, so he had most of it. He ain't had the fighting skills that Captain America did. He had most of it because when Cap came back, Cap put hands on him. But when you look at anti-recasters, they walk, talk, and chew gum just like we do. They say they love the same stuff we do. But when you press them for that knowledge, it's almost like hitting them with that it's like putting them glasses on where you can see them for who they really are. They don't know anything about Chadwick Boseman. And if you don't know anything about the man, you can't say you care about that man. They don't know anything about T'Challa. They don't know anything about Wakanda. We've actually had conversations with them where they don't know anything about Shuri. So, and you don't know anything about the comics because what do they keep saying? Shuri and Eric Killmonger have been Black Panthers. When they say everybody been Black Panthers, they only name 2.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that these are the same type of people that's writing right now?
What I'm saying is that everybody that claims to be a fan of these characters isn't. They lying.
That's evident enough. Yeah, that's evident enough.
That's in it. They saying it, they talking it, but actually speaking about them words. Yeah, that's just like somebody saying, I'm a fan of this character, but you finna kill him off. No, you're not a fan of that character. Because I promise you, the dude that's a fan of Bruce Wayne Batman ain't ever thinking about killing that character off. Stop lying.
You know what else I liked about this book is the scenery. The shots of Wakanda that you get. I felt like that was missing in Ridley's run too. You got a lot of shots of the damn Serengeti, and you know what the shots of where we were at when we were traveling, trying to find the sleeper cell agents. But the scenes of Wakanda were a little bit lacking, even in comparison to the Coast run. To me, he does a lot of off, and then now he's not even in Wakanda, so nothing to look at over there. But just a lot of good scenery here. You got the statue of Bast over the waterfall and everything like that. They even have a diner style restaurant somewhere in Wakanda. I thought that was funny. But it's just a lot of the scenes are set up, right? It just kind of puts you in there.
Did you peep with Shorty order? I have the Burberry braised lamb. I have the same. That's one.
She rich. She rich. You thought, yeah, no, she is the royal princess. She's been eating capers and caviar since she was a young blood. She's rich.
Hey, I need that in my life. So you just pull up and you just order the Burberry. First of all, I don't even know what Burberry is, but that's what. Okay, cool. And mom,
Burberry is a clothing line to me, Theo. I don't know nothing about no Burberry. Burberry braised. Us broke boys don't know nothing about that. Don't know nothing about it.
Wait.
So
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on, because I gotta do this. Wait, where's the scene at? Is she switching away? Is the waitress switching away? Who is this artist? Who is this artist? Who is the artist? That's all I want to know. Because we don't see it like that. We don't see it like that. Who is the artist?
Paco Medina.
Listen, shout out to you, Paco. You put a little
Paco Medina.
Listen, I like it. Keep that on that artwork authentic. I love
that. So the main conflict in issue 1 seems to be that Rhino, right, former Spider-Man villain. Well, I guess still current Spider-Man villain, because what else is Rhino doing? It has snuck into a pack of outsourced rhinoceros.
Yeah. I don't know how that goes.
Did y'all get these? Y'all got these rhinos from America? So hold on, let me make this. So Wakanda is not only outsourcing rhinos.
Come on, Marcus. Come on. Because I
guess the border tribe is no longer breeding rhinoceroses anymore. So we outsourcing from somewhere. Let's assume that it's somewhere else in Africa, right? Because that's where rhinos live.
Do you know why
or in Asia as well, parts of Asia. But
do you know why
how the hell did Rhino get into the damn? But
because we locked all of them up after the events of Black Panther 1. We locked all of them up. We locked everybody from the border tribe up.
Well,
now, I'm being petty. So yeah, we had to outsource our rhinos. That's what happened. We got a theme park in Wakanda and everything.
So Rhino sneaks in with a level of sophistication. I don't know why I can't talk. With a level of is sophisticality a word?
We can just say sophistication. We ain't got to do all that. Put an Asian on.
A level of sophistication. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Couldn't get to it. With a level of sophistication that is unusual for him. So we're just gonna put a pin in that. I think we'll get a little bit of a clear explanation later on. But he's running rampant through the city. Shuri, of course, it activates her griot powers anytime I'm seeing that being canonized. I love it.
What did she activate?
The idea that she not. I don't know why she got these funky ass blasters on.
What did she activate?
The griot powers.
Thank you. Say it one more time for me.
The griot powers.
There it is. There it is. I'm like you. I don't know why she got the blasters on. I
Yeah, I
believe
don't know
this.
why she got these funky ass blasters, man. Get that out of here. That was for little Kia Shuri.
I think that's just to tie that character into the MCU version. There's no reason for
Absolutely,
her to
that's
have
what it
this.
is. If I can go intangible and turn into a group of crows, why am I carrying these things around? Why? Why? What
She
do I need these for?
She can turn into a living stone. She can grow into a gigantic version of herself, and she's super strong. What she need them? Never mind.
They trying to stick to MCU canon. You know, that's the new canon, the MCU canon. But Shuri kind of asked the same questions we asked him. Like, what you doing here? How you even get in here? This too much for you. It's way too much for you. But she does display her full repertoire of moves here on Rhino. She even tries to do her best Spider-Man impersonation, and he tells her to go to hell on with some of that shit because I ain't come all the way to New York to get beat by Peter Parker. So he actually make her.
She don't beat him using her vibranium wrist blasters. That's not how she beats him.
Mm-mm.
She beats him using her not Black Panther abilities. That's not what she used to beat him, which is crazy because y'all getting ready to go see a movie in Black Panther 2 that don't even apply to her no more. She used her griot abilities, which begs the question, why did she even use the wrist blasters in the first place? She used her griot abilities to one-piece Rhino. Think about that for a second. Her griot abilities. She used it to one-piece that dude, one-punch man him. She did everything else prior to that. Using her griot abilities is what got him out of there with a one-hitter quitter.
Fact. So in the aftermath of all of that kerfuffle, Okoye does reach out to Shuri. So this is strange. This is very strange. Well, you know what? It may not be that strange because I haven't been reading. Did the Dora Milaje come back after they defeated A.X.E? Did they come back to Wakanda?
I don't want to say that. I'm gonna say that they F with Shuri. Like they F with Shuri. Like they F with
okay.
her.
So it's like a personal line. This ain't like because it seems like she's dressed up still in her Dora stuff, but okay, I can take it.
They got their own land. They run the Jabari land, so they are a tribe off into themselves. So I would imagine that with them being a tribe off into themselves, there's a hierarchy in place. So they're still Doras. They just don't answer to the throne anymore, which is crazy because I don't think they had a problem answering to the throne when there was a female sitting on the throne, but that's just me.
Or when someone else decreed that they would no longer be bed wives, right? Or they would never be made to be wives of the royal line.
Let me say this. There wasn't a writer putting a personal spin on it back then. I'll say it like that. So knowing that they were supposed to be bed wives, which was crazy because I know how that was written, but knowing that there were female Black Panthers, it make me you see where I'm going with this one? Because I know why y'all were called the Doors, but that predates T'Chaka. Because not John Ridley, but John Mayberry in the Doom War, he has Anika announced that they have been around for 10,000 years. They have guarded the throne for 10,000 years. That's a long time. So if y'all were originally gathered for the purpose of protecting the throne and to be seen as potential wives, it didn't matter who sat on the throne, male or female. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. So
Okoye does call in to Shuri and let her know that Rhino had a camera on his suit and that she doesn't think that he was working alone. Surprise, surprise. You do get a clip of I don't even know who this is. Who is that? You know who this is?
This is the young lady, Ayaku. She is from the Power storyline. She was Shuri's first antagonist.
Ah, okay.
Yep, Shuri's very first antagonist. So it was good to see her show up in this book. A book that's featuring Shuri. It's nice to see her first antagonist when she had the Black Panther costume on.
Are we building a rose gallery for Shuri? Is that what's happening?
Might be, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And with Yaku being in place, that means I don't want to call him the fixer because that's not his name. The thinker or something like that, because he was also involved in um Power, Doom War, and the deadliest of the species. He was the one that was actually supplying Doom with what he needed as far as superpowered mercenaries, equipment, and everything like that to steal vibranium from Wakanda. And she was one of the mercenaries that was working in his working on his behalf. So it is great to see her again. They actually got a little flirtatious relationship themselves, them two. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mm. All right. So I guess before we get into the second half of the book, the Wakanda lore, let's get back to the comments, see what we got going on here. We left off on Kimio Kia asking about Shuri and Manifold. Sure, they better not put Folicide in the comics. I would keep her with Ridley. That's a Ridley creation. Keep her there. Boycott Activision says, I will never buy another ticket to another Black Panther movie in my life if that happens. Maybe he was referring to the relationship at that point. I don't know.
He might be.
I don't know what he was talking about. Cornelia says Eden Vesey / Manifold is one of those characters that would be a thing with a mutant with it. That would be a thing with a mutant with his power set. Manifold and Shuri are power couple. But I'll take Manifold and Tosin. I'll take Manifold and Tosin for sure. Steezel says making comic Shuri more in line with Letitia Wright's version is a step backwards in my opinion. For sure. What do you need them punk ass blasters for? Literally. Literally.
Did you see the trailer?
That's how you know. That's how you know without a shadow of a doubt that the people who make those type of decisions do not make them for the betterment of the people they're representing. They do it to check a box. They do it so that they can never be called to the floor for representation purposes or who's being cast in these roles. It's more than just the quantity, but it's about the quality as well. And so when you start talking about trying to make Shuri more MCU accurate as opposed to comic book accurate in the name of uplifting the character or making the character better, that's a contradiction because there's nothing about the MCU version that defeats this version of Shuri. Not even close.
At all. I don't know if you saw it in the new trailer or the new addition to the trailer where she's actually jumping off, I guess it's a Wakandan ship in the sea and everything like that, and she's got on her wrist blasters.
Oh, well.
I'm like, I'm saying to myself, like, what do y'all got going on? Like, do you know what you want to do? Like, she's the Black Panther. There's really no reason.
Activision was. I'm sorry, bro. He was talking about the LGBTQ love interest for Shuri, which I don't know. That's not a big thing to me. As long as they're adding something to the character,
right?
Like, I don't care all that much who she lay with as long as the story is moving forward,
And that's I think that's been our biggest issue. It's the story. It's the story being told. Yes, the story not being told right gradually evolves into a lot of other things, but that's been the main topic. Even if we say recast, it's the story. You're messing with the story for no reason whatsoever. And the story
like you said, the story, if Shuri ends up having, or she had a love interest that was already established, right, and that was part of her story arc, that was part of her development as a character, and they scrapped it to add some LGBTQ representation to the movie, that would be something that's harmful, I feel like. But if that's the character's story, if that's their history, that's their history. You got characters like I think we mentioned on the last X-Men Red that we did. Characters like Destiny and Mystique.
Yes.
Right? Like they've always been gay, but it's really only been a thing of them acknowledging it in the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's even been that long. So
I want to say the way it was written, because John Byrne wrote them first, you could tell, and I can't say they came out as gay back then, but doing that Days of Future Past storyline where, you know, we were getting our first look at Destiny and Mystique and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Avalanche and everything like that, you could tell by the way they were interacting then that they had a thing for each other. It was no different than with when he wrote North Star. Like, you can write a character and you can write a character in such a way where if somebody's reading that character, they should know that character is gay. The character shouldn't have to come out and say it no different than people have to come out and, because I never came out as a heterosexual. It's just so that's just me. I never knew that's what we was doing. But if you even in our real life, Marcus, if you and I pay attention to somebody, they don't have to tell us. They don't have to tell us. So when we look at that, don't change the character sexuality up just to fit an agenda. Let it be organic where it actually means something. Something where it doesn't just not just represented on the screen, it's actually represented in the books like it's supposed to be.
It's even simpler than that, man. If you feel like that's important to be put on screen, which I don't think you catch anybody over here saying that it's not. But
Right.
how about pick a character who already has that identity instead of changing the identity of an existing character who to which they're already serving the demographic to fit whatever it is your idea. There's too many characters out there for that to be a thing.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Where we at here? Shout out to Jonathan Hickman for creating Manifold for his Secret Warriors run.
Absolutely.
Sure, man. Jonathan Hickman is an all-star. Jonathan Hickman is an all-star. Top 5 comic book writer, dead or alive. Sure, all respect to Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, absolutely.
D. Steezel, Nate, Ryan, Kevin equals Scrolls. Yeah, probably. They are just disruptors from Cornelius. I'm ready for Brian Edward Hill's BP run. It starts next month. I'm excited about that as well. And actually, I'll be honest and say that this book got me excited for the potential for what new Black Panther books that aren't being written by John Ridley could look like.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
really excited.
yeah. I was surprised. I ain't gonna lie, I was surprised when I read this. I was like, oh, okay, because that ain't how y'all advertised it.
And Steezel says he always liked Medina's artwork. Oh, Paco Medina. Yeah, man. He got old girl in here switching the waitress.
Like, I'm looking at the various Panthers that he took the time to. You see the Honda sitting up there and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to think that that's T'Chaka kneeling, but the fact that he took the time to put, you know, the different Panthers in here, give them distinguishable looks. Hasbro, y'all sleep, handle your business. Marvel Legends, get on it. But yeah.
That's a fact. Let's see, got a few more.
Sure,
it's not. What's up?
He said something about Ironheart's suit. Her PS, it looks like a PS2. What's his name? Ryan Coogler is an anime fan. Bubblegum Candy. Remember I put that on Twitter? Bubblegum Candy, those suits of armor. That's what her costume. That's what the Marvel Legends, the red outfit. Look at the bubblegum candy. That's where that suit of armor is inspired by. It's inspired by Japanese animation. I went and looked at it. I was like, golly, for real.
It feels very much so Big Hero 6. So I feel like that feels accurate because that's exactly what it looks like. I'm not in love with it, but then again, I'm also not promoting the movie. So I guess if you like it, you like it. So the back half of this book is the Wakandan history part. That's Evan Narcis's addition to the first issue. And basically, it's just Queen Ramunda showing up to a school of kids telling Wakandan lore stories along with Shuri as they kind of gaze upon, as you were saying, all of the former Black Panthers and their statues there.
Y'all go pick this book up. Go ahead, Marcus.
I mean, y'all absolutely can, man. I don't know if it's gonna be what it's gonna look like, 2 or 3 issues from now. I think the next one we're getting into M'Baku, but we'll see. We'll see. So far so good. They do the histories of the different tribes in Wakanda. They kind of started to split apart from the first Panther, whose name
Mostly.
Mosi, right? First Panther back in what was this, 10 million BC?
Man, listen, you
1000
got more
BC?
zeros than I do. I just did 1 million BC. I ain't no
1
10.
million, 1 million BC. There you go. 1 million BC. So they basically rehashing that Avengers story that we saw in. You got it in front of you. What issue was that?
Um, Avengers 1. Avengers 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. By who was that? Who wrote that one?
Multi-fighting here. Who was that?
That is a Brood.
Like, that's how far this dude going back. And
That's
on the
how
next
far back it
page,
was. Yeah. Because apparently, once the vibranium landed, it opened up portals to different places, and different creatures start popping out. And the Brood was one of them. Now, the Brood have destroyed entire worlds. Matter of fact, if Brood, the X-Men Brood, didn't eat that King egg, the X-Men might have had a Brood problem on their hand on Earth. So definitely an impressive feat there. You see the Avengers that you just showed there in the comic book show up. Bor, or excuse me, not Bor, Thor, not Thor.
who was
Odin,
that?
Bor's son. That's Shumagorath.
Come on, somebody.
That's Shumagorath.
No people back in the day.
Yeah, man. So he's really up on top of it, right? And then they also have the epic death of the first Black Panther. And so I did not read that that Black Panther 1 million BC comic book, but they allude to the death that happens in that book, and that's the impetus to Wakanda staying secret and no one knowing about it. See, I didn't know that until this book.
And I go ahead. It's a thick book. This book really is more so about Thor, Odin, how Thor came to be born with not Hela, but Gaia and the Phoenix Force. They want to devote a few pages, maybe one or two, to Mosi, the Black Panther 1 million BC. So I don't want to tell y'all to go buy that and y'all get like I thought that it's only like 1 or 2 pages, but those 1 or 2 pages are referenced in this book.
Mm-hmm. So the next guy up on the lineage after Wakanda shuts his borders down is Bashanga. Bashanga is it looks like he's the warrior that made Stormbreaker. Right,
Yep.
so this is the first Stormbreaker appearance we've had since Ten of Swords. So now we've got I like the one thing I did like, even though I'm not in love with the creators, is that they managed to pull all of the different things over the last 3 or 4 years that have been added to Black Panther lore, and they put them together chronologically. They organized them, right? So they gave us a clear timeline of how all this stuff applies and where it fits. As opposed to what it was as it was coming out, it just kind of seemed like a bunch of randomness that people had never heard before. Like, 1 million BC, where'd this guy come from? I thought Bashanga was the first. What the hell is a Stormbreaker? I ain't never heard about no Stormbreaker. Where the hell did that thing come from? Now it's legitimized.
Let me tell you something. Because we talked before we came on the air, and I saluted Josh for going back and reading and everything like that. Here's what I found. When we talk to people that are against T'Challa being recasted, they're working off of very limited knowledge, and they don't want to go back and get the information that would make them well-rounded as Black Panther fans. I think the people who said what they wanted to say, you can say that initially. You don't like him, you don't care for him, you finna do whatever. But you have no choice. As you go back and you try and dot all the I's and cross all the T's, you're going to familiarize yourself with a character you don't want to familiarize yourself with. If I familiarize myself with you, at some point in time, I start to care about you. This is a psychological fact. Stockholm syndrome. What do we say about the young lady who was kidnapped? I can't remember her name, but it was before your time and everything like that. But she was kidnapped. She started taking on the ideologies of her kidnappers. Well, you as a author, you're going to write this book, you're going to have to go do research. Well, who are you researching? T'Challa. Who you learning about? T'Challa. Yeah, you might get sick and tired of him, but you're gonna grow to care about this character that you're having to research because everything is told through his eyes. Everything is told through his vision. You ain't got no choice. I think by the time they get done with this story, I think they will have they might not say it publicly because we know they pushing a narrative. They will come away with a newfound respect for T'Challa, whether they say it or not.
For sure, for sure. As the legend goes, Bashenga chucks the spear and Stormbreaker as far as it'll go, and where it lands is where they build the monument to Bashenga. When they eventually find it, and that's kind of the the wrap of the book. But they do have these annotations on the next several pages that basically line out all the different like footnotes in Black Panther history. They talk about Stormbreaker, they talk about the heart-shaped herb, they talk about the crystal forest, they talk about T'Challa. It's dope. It's dope. There's a lot of history in just like 3 or 4 pages of Black Panther. So I can't say too many bad things about this book, man. The only things that got a little cringy to me was the few times that they chose to acknowledge John Ridley. They didn't do it much, but the few times that they did bring him up, it just continued to not make sense. Like Shuri is having dialogue with Ramunda at some point in this book, and she's like, "Well, am I not doing what I'm supposed to, being prepared for eventualities? Like, is that not what we should be doing?" And she says, "Well, that's what got your brother exiled, so don't let it turn to paranoia." And it's like, oh my god, bro, like
It's all, and here's the sad part.
like
You
it
ready?
don't even make sense for that to be. She has been queen mother to the royal family for at least as long as T'Challa been alive, so about 30 something years. She absolutely understands the duties of leaders and how sometimes the opinions of individuals matter not to the greater safety of everyone else. So what you call paranoia, I call readiness.
I'm gonna tell you why I find that funny. Hold on, I can't wait till I get to this page. Where is that page at? Because it was a page. Dadgummit. But it was a page where they're advertising a new Black Panther one shot in which somebody is threatening Bast. And I thought I saw it in this book. But it's a Black Panther one shot, November 2022. So even with that, they are still finding a way to keep T'Challa around. God, I wish now I'm mad. Because
Go ahead,
I
look
just
for it. I'll read some of these.
yeah, go ahead.
See where we at. I love Ashura says I love the pre no pew pew Shuri to comic MCU Shuri. I prefer the Griot Shuri for sure, bro. We've been there on that one. Needs to writer for MCU movies along with Al
It
Huey
was
writing the movie. I would at least watch to see how it goes.
Death to the Mutants, right, Marcus? See
Was that
that?
was the last book we read?
Okay, here it is. It was in Death to the Mutants. It says Black Panther Unconquered, #1. Terrorists target Bast, the Panther God herself, in this all-new one-shot.
Mm-hmm.
Written by Brian Edward Hill, Alberto Fauché, covered by Ken Lashley, November 2022.
Okay.
So we going so hard in the paint on the big screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna drag him right here.
No, not that one. Yeah,
We
that one.
gonna,
You're gonna drag him there.
we gonna drag him here too, right? We're gonna drag him here too, right? But we know we still need him. We know we still need him to make money. That's what I've been looking at. You still need this dude to make money.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah,
that this
I
dude
will say this book, at least at my LCS, was still fully stocked, and I got my books a full day late. So I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know what that means for the sales projections, but it didn't do too good in my LCS. This is Wakanda #1 K-pop that we're reading right now. D Steezel says, yeah, her armor does resemble Betamax from or Bimax from Big Hero 6 for sure. For sure, that was the first thing I see or that I thought when I saw it. Ashura says, M'Baku is still alive. I thought he got capped by Marlin. Has Marvel retcon Secret Wars timeline from Jonathan Hickman. So this is actually, I think the next issue is going to be the version of M'Baku from the Intergalactic Empire.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right?
Moreland clapped M'Baku. However, there was an M'Baku that came through the wormhole from the
Mm-hmm.
Intergalactic Empire. So we do have a someone named after M'Baku who, from
A
what I was reading,
descendant, or
yeah,
maybe not even a descendant, just somebody who got his namesake.
right. He's concerned. One of the things he's concerned about will he take on the ideologies of his namesake. So that's supposed to be something that he's concerned about going into uh, his particular one shot. I do see
Which
where,
is a weird thing to worry about when you've only just been named after him. Like, that's kind of a strange thing. Like, you must ask some questions about yourself if you think your name, excuse me,
right.
if you think your name is
Um,
just that powerful to make you do some messed up stuff.
I don't think they've ever specified where vibranium originates from. Like, I think that would be a whole other story in and of itself. Because now we're gonna
Like where
call.
the meteor. So I mean, so meteors are just what pieces of stars or
Mhm.
maybe exploded planets or something like that. So
That have traveled across the universe and come into contact with different
sure.
forms of radiation, things of that nature. I think if they were to explore that, kind of like how we look at Krypton, you would have to do a
Oh,
whole new.
sure.
So I
Sure.
don't think they
So a world where vibranium was a natural resource, like on the planet and not just a certain spot. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that.
that's why you probably not gonna get it because that means we got to expand. Not gonna get that.
K-Pox says, hold up. So BP 1 million BC is Mosi and not Bashenga. I'm way behind on BP lore. I need to catch up. So I don't think they officially named him, but we named him. You know what I'm saying? Or Theo B named him. You know what I'm saying? The Council of T'Challa named him.
I named him King Wakanda. They actually named him Mosi in this book,
Do
Avengers
they?
1 million. They actually give him his official name.
Ah, okay, okay.
So
Okay, so
yeah,
then yeah. Mosi was the first. He's Black Panther 1 million BC, but Shanga was the one who succeeded him.
I ain't gonna act like that. I ain't gonna act like that.
Sure. Are all Black Panthers related by blood? As far as I know, the
Yes,
royal
you,
family.
and that's something that's coming from Bast herself.
Yeah.
Like, because, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm guessing that even though Mosi and Bashinga probably aren't related, so she probably started the bloodline off with Bashinga. Because
Mhm.
they mostly had been dead by then, unless they come back and rewrite that and say that Bashinga was his grandson or something like that. But yeah, you got to be related. If you're not related, you go ahead and mess with that heart-shaped herb if you want to. That's not.
They even allude to that because they say the first people to actually take the herb haven't even been documented because it wasn't prepared right and it was gone
Right.
before anybody could get to them. So
And let me say this:
yeah.
Eric Killmonger is not related to either one of them. His mom and daddy died in an explosion when Claw was raiding Wakanda for vibranium. His mom and daddy dead. His mom and dad are not related. And don't do that in Wakanda 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. He is not related to nobody from the royal family. Can we get
I
that?
don't think they're gonna retcon that. They've kind of held firm on the Killmonger character. I feel like at least in the comics, in terms of his lore, I don't think they're gonna do that.
I hope not. I hope not, because they be on some crazy stuff.
D Steezel says Josh on this channel is reading them comics. That's what's up. Yeah, man, we got him together. I can't get him to watch a movie, but he'll read some comics with me.
Hey,
Sure.
hey, you know what? Hold on. This a petty moment for real. Frogman. Fastos. Fastos. Frogman. Why was Frogman in better shape than Fastos?
Frogman.
Frogman from She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Oh, I haven't finished that series, dog. I have no
Okay,
idea.
well, I see. In the comics, Frogman looked like Fastos in the MCU.
Oh, okay. But he was ripped in
Yes. I was
you,
like,
you know what you and I would say, but you know, people have other ideas as to why stuff like that happens, so you let them have them. The
I was,
child is oh, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, I was like, this will be okay. So Frogman pudgy in the comic books, but he geeked up in. Okay, never mind. All right, okay, yeah, okay.
2 questions from Ashura. T'Challa is exiled. Yes, yeah, he got kicked out after what was that issue 8 that they finished the battle with Achilles.
Achilles,
Yep.
and I'm still unsure as to why he got kicked out of Wakanda.
I don't know, cause Fall is sad. That's why.
What
Wasn't Ramunda the reason Io and Anika hate T'Challa?
I
You
would
can
say,
answer that better than
unfortunately,
me.
yes. Anika and Io. Okay, so during Coates, no, because actually Roxanne Gay wrote this. During Roxanne's Gay World of Wakanda, the women in the Jabari lands were being murdered. They reached out. Anika and Io got with them women. They cornered Mbala. Mbala is the youngest brother of Mbaku, who was already murdered by Morlun. They cornered him. The person who was responsible for him being killed personally was Anika. Ramunda came in and arrested Anika. Io went and got 2 versions of the Midnight Angels armor, came to Anika's prison where she was, broke her out, and they left. T'Challa didn't lock her up. Now, T'Challa was busy doing some other stuff, but T'Challa wasn't the one responsible for her being locked up. Ramunda was. Crazy. Black woman, black woman. Black women being oppressed. Black women take justice. Black woman locks up black women for taking justice. This had nothing to do with a black man. It had nothing to do with a man. Other than Mbala was the one committing these crimes. And they handled that. So.
Yeah. All right, K-Pop says, Theo, Marcus, question. Did Marvel ever reveal where specifically in the Marvel Universe does vibranium originate from? Or didn't we already read that?
We did. We touched that.
We read that
No.
one. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm way back. Where we at? Looks like just a bunch of comments from now. MCU doesn't care about continuity. Facts. If y'all could write the BP comic or movie, what would y'all do differently? Ooh wee.
Man, don't ask us no questions like that.
Ooh wee. You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
Man, you go ahead, bro. Man, listen, go on, do your thing.
Oh man. Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna be nice, and I am going to consider what everyone has said thus far is their feelings on the matter in terms of Chadwick and the loss, obviously, right? So let's assume that we can't have T'Challa in this movie. Okay, that's cool. If we not gonna do the blip thing, because that's somebody else's theory. I had a theory. If we're gonna pick it up right after Endgame, where we seen it, right after that celebration, right there in the middle of the Capitol, T'Challa walks off. Right, all of a sudden, right in the beginning of the movie, some sort of portal opens up, hand grabs him and pulls him through. Right, cutscene. Nobody's seen it. He just disappeared. Y'all can have y'all moment. You can have the whole, oh, the king's done. You can have that. We as an audience see that he's no longer there. That he's somewhere else.
Right.
But to Wakanda, to Shuri, Ramunda, and everybody that's left behind, he's just gone. He's just gone. Eventually, they could probably assume that he may have died or was captured or something like that. But we don't kill him on screen. We don't have a funeral for him. We don't do anything permanent that's going to remove the character forever. You sitting through that portal, right? Boom, boom, boom. We can keep all the Namor stuff. Namor pulls up. Hey, somebody drilling in Atlantis. I need Wakanda's help. What y'all got to say? No, you're not gonna help. Cool. I'm gonna flood Wakanda and then go back to my business. As Namor is flooding Wakanda, Black Panther, along with the Empire, the intergalactic empire that was established by Ta-Nehisi Coates, right, comes back through that portal with an armada to fight the Atlanteans, saves the day. That would be the synopsis of my movie. You need him gone? There's a simple solution. Doesn't involve him dying. Doesn't involve a funeral scene. Doesn't involve you likening the real life death of Chadwick Boseman back to this character. And guess what? You can still have a memorial if you want to. You can still do that, all that honor and stuff. You can still play No Woman, No Cry and do all of the sad stuff. But see, we as an audience know that the character hasn't gone anywhere. We understand that we really doing this for Chadwick Boseman. And we keep the character and the actual person separate so that everybody's happy. That's what I would do.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love that. Me, you know me. I'm gonna do a little bit. You know, I'm gonna get a little bit more creative. I would have done it where I'm not announcing a sequel. I would have went hard to work on the Chadwick Boseman movie biopic. I said that on my channel numerous times. I'm not gonna change it. I would have went hard to work on a Chadwick Boseman movie biopic because I would have wanted to share this young man, this brilliant young man whose life was cut down too soon. I would have wanted the world to know who he was. I wanted, as someone alluded to when they lied, I would have wanted the world to love Chadwick Boseman. I would have said, for you to love T'Challa, you gotta love Chadwick Boseman. For you to accept another actor, you gotta know what Chadwick Boseman stood for. The actor that would have played the role of of older Chadwick Boseman would have been the actor that I would have cast in Black Panther 2. Like I said, I would have pressed pause on that one, and I would have used the Doom War power, deadliest of the species storyline. The only thing I probably would have did differently is I probably would have introduced, I probably would have went Samuel L. Jackson in there as a part, as opposed to Riri Williams. And the only reason why I would have brought Samuel L. Jackson in there was so that it would have made sense when the Wakandans relied upon the Shield helicarrier or the Boseman helicarrier, the Wakandan helicarrier named the Boseman. Wouldn't have been a dry eye in the house. I get emotional just thinking about that, to see something, because the Bozeman helicarrier would have stood the test of time in the MCU.
That man, I'm interested to see what it is beyond the trailer or the trailer beyond the funeral that kind of sticks legacy wise with how they're handling this, because
Right.
the unfortunate thing of all of this is that some of this stuff isn't going to be able to be undone. You know,
Right.
you can't unmemorialize someone. I mean, I guess you can celebrate their return, but like some of this damage is going to be set in stone. So I just, it makes me wonder exactly how far they went, because you know that they feel great about it now. Something tells me they won't feel that great about it a couple weeks after the movie. And,
They
and
won't.
and they're just making it really hard to walk any of this shit back. They're making it very tough.
I say this, and my phone gonna die on me and got the charge on me. I don't want to die during the midst of a live. I was talking to a young man today. Saw him at not CC's Pizza Real, but Little Caesar's Pizza, and he was talking and everything. He had a young boy with him. This young man, I think he said he was 29, had a 4-year-old with him. It was his nephew. Asked him, was he gonna take him to see Black Panther and everything like that? Said he's gonna be traumatized. And I went down the list. And I said, this is the holiday season. He said, yeah. I said, now we used to get movies like This Christmas, Almost Christmas, The Preacher's Wife, stuff like that. This holiday season, and I go back to Mara Chooks when she said trauma porn. We've gotten The Woman King. That's a traumatic movie. We've gotten Teal. That's not a feel-good movie. And we're gonna get Black Panther 2. In all of those movies, you're crying. In all of those movies, you're seeing a lot of death, black death, for no reason whatsoever. You're not gonna want to see this. I mean, it's hard for you to say a movie in which there was a bunch of black trauma, that's your favorite movie. Like I like New Jack City, but that's not my favorite movie. It's had plenty. This is what this holiday season, like I need us to think. Our holiday season is filled with nothing but black trauma. There is no black feel good movie coming out this holiday season. Come on, man. And we don't need to act like that wasn't by design because all of them got released right behind each other. All of them got released right behind each other. And in every last one of them, let the movies directed, their promotional department tell it, the black man is irrelevant, emasculated, killed, or all three. I don't know what they and it ain't like I'm making it up. You see it as well as I do.
Sure. Sure.
No.
Where were we at? Y'all be moving too fast. Hold on. Let's see. Karuchi says Sion should have been in this movie. I mean, that would they don't have any more room to introduce any more new characters. They got Michaela Cole, they got Riri Williams in here, so they got Anika, they got Riri. Then you got Namor who's getting introduced as well, and Baku's gonna have an increased role. Okoye and Nakia gonna have a role in it. Oh, and don't forget Queen Ramunda, who seems to be the co-star in the movie. So it's just like, they don't have enough room to add any more new characters to that right now.
Did you see the part in the trailer when M'Baku goes to use his staff on Namor and Namor
and it just breaks on it? Yeah, man. That I hope they give my man something else to do because that was sad. That was sad.
I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, so no man, because we could roast that movie all day long. At the end of the day, I know it ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, I'm used to it. But
Cornelius says they're flipping that in the movie. Looks like Okoye is with the Midnight Angels with Anika, and I don't know what they're doing with Io besides her being with Anika. That's probably going to be the basis of her arc in this movie. Is just the nature of her relationship, which is unfortunate because there's more to that character than just that. But I mean, you literally do not have the space. That's probably what was making the movie so long. Right, they got a tribute to Chadwick Boseman in the first couple of minutes, is what we're hearing. They got this entire ensemble cast. You know what it's lining up? It's reminding me of Eternals. It's literally the same setup. Super long movie, great cinematography. You can see that from the trailer, right? But an ensemble cast and no center. No driving character. The only thing that's different for Black Panther is that the thing that's going to centralize it is Chadwick's death. That's what's going to be the central theme throughout the movie is Chadwick's death. It doesn't really matter that you got 30 different characters all here trying to vie for a position. The thing that's going to connect it all back, even if it's not purposeful to do that, is going to be Chadwick's death.
This is not a movie about Chadwick Boseman. It is a movie about
Chadwick Boseman's death.
But this movie, you're not going to come, and that's how I talked about it. You're not going. When I go to a movie, I come away talking about Batman, Superman, or how Henry Cavill played this person, or how what the name Ben Affleck played Batman, or how Tom Holland played Spider-Man. People are literally going to walk away from this movie talking about every character in the movie except when they get to T'Challa. When they get to T'Challa, they're gonna refer to Chadwick Boseman, and that's what they wanted you to do. No. Lupita Nyong'o can say whatever she wants to. Lupita Nyong'o did already been in a movie that has nothing to do with this one called, what is it, All of Us, or This Is Us, or whatever? How you finna tie this dude's legacy into one freaking role, a role in which he only was in his own movie for a third of the time? Never mind.
That's a very interesting point because you if you look at a lot of the media who's painting the narrative of this movie, it's like the women are being uplifted, and it's like, well, damn, if this is what did you think of the first movie? Did you think that they were subservient in the first movie? Because damn, if your homeboy didn't give up 2/3 of the movie for everyone else, and it wasn't M'Baku either. But damn sure it wasn't any of the fallen fathers. It wasn't T'Chaka, it wasn't Zuri, it wasn't Killmonger. It was T'Challa and his
The most,
supporting cast, which was Io, Okoye, Shuri, Ramunda,
the most hypocritical
Nakia.
thing I think of is they just released 12-inch, Hasbro just released new 12-inch Marvel Legends Titan action figures. Namor is one, Shuri is one from this particular movie. They got the Black Panther 12-inch Titan action figure that they released in the first Black Panther movie. They got a little girl playing with all of them. I don't like that. People can say what they want to. Theo, you should. Why is she playing with Black Panther? Ain't that the character you killing off? So why is she playing with Black Panther or Namor and Shuri, the young
Well, you
girl?
know what the answer to that is. It ain't got nothing to do with the gender. That they're trying to sell it, and they know what sells Black Panther products.
It's
It's not
T'Challa.
ensemble characters. Yeah, it's T'Challa.
It's T'Challa. And see, that's my whole thing. So if the let me see, I'm clapping. If the toy companies know that, why we acting like we don't know that? You can't sell nothing. Even the 12, even the 6-inch action figures that you released in the movie he ain't in, they still felt the need to put the comic book version of the action figure in that wave. That tells you everything. And they said, hey, we BSing on the fellas. We got to put the Ias-Ijs in there too. Action figures we've been looking for, that white action figure we've been looking for what, 20-something years now. They finally give it to us. Why? Because they know what we want.
Real quick, because I need to read the rest of these questions. Do you think that they'll show up in the movie? The Hatu
No,
Zaraze?
they have. They showed up in the first movie. You ain't see them? It was Nakia.
No, the Hatu Zaraze, not the Dora.
No,
Or
Nakia is a
you said Nakia and her.
yeah, she's a war dog. The war dogs are the war dog. War dog is the English is the English
Okay, let
translation.
me. Okay, do you think we'll have warriors dressed up in the white suits and the red goggles with the guns?
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's see. Karuchi, I need T'Challa to take the spirit of Bashenga through Namor's chest, though. One day, we'll see. Is that Stormbreaker? Was that
Yes,
Stormbreaker that she stabbed him with, or that
yes,
he stabbed Namor with?
yes. Put it where it belongs.
Wow. Hey, yo, no, legit. I thought Stormbreaker was just brought up in Ten of Swords. I never heard of or seen that sword before. But you're saying the one that T'Challa stabbed Namor with is Stormbreaker for sure.
Right, because what they're doing is, and it's crazy. There are a lot of, and that's why I said you would be surprised at the people that care about T'Challa. They will find ways to put some stank on his story, and it's not even his comic book. They're gonna put something in there that's gonna have to stick, and it's not even his comic book. That's Stormbreaker. They didn't name it then.
But that's what it was, though.
They didn't name it then. Now we tell us, so hey, we're gonna put some stank on this. But you even stated that you said it's amazing how writers from other books can respect T'Challa in ways in which the writers of his book can't. You even touched on that.
Sure. Sure.
So
No, you're right. You're right. Let's get some rapid fire in here because y'all have been giving us some good engagement on these comments. I appreciate y'all, man. K-Pop says that alone sounds 100 times better than the BS Ryan and Nate and Kevin decided to go with. I appreciate the sentiment. Cornelius, I'd use the intergalactic plot for Secret Wars because we know Coogler ain't doing that. Are they reorganizing some of these comments? I feel like I read some of this before.
might
Lapita
be.
says, I think they shifted some of our comments here. Lapita says BP2 is a send off to Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa. Yeah, we're gonna make a video about that this weekend. I think Lapita, number one, she is, she's under contract. She ain't gonna say nothing to the contrary of Marvel. But I do think that she was pretty honest in her summation. She's biased. And that's the one point that all of the publications continuously left out over and over and over again in her quotes. She's biased. Yeah, she says she has no patience for the reasons. She did acknowledge that there's reasons, but she don't have no patience for it. She's not even in the right headspace for it because she's biased. That is a more honest take than Winston Duke, than Nate Moore. Well, Nate Moore tried to say that. He don't know how to talk to people.
Man, listen, I go back to May 2018. Don't take me back to May 2018. He
Yeah,
said,
he tried to say that in so many words, but he's just not good at it. So it didn't come out the way it came out with Lapita. And look, if you're willing to acknowledge that the conclusions you are drawing are coming from a point of bias, we can agree. We can agree, and it ain't really nothing for us to argue over because you are holding your connection and your personal feelings towards Chadwick overcompass all the other valid reasons that you see for recasting the character. And at that point, you're telling me that it's you and your comfortability over the viewing experience of the audience. That's never been a thing. That will never be a thing. And I just, even though the actor died, I still can't give him that.
Marcus, watch this. Here's what we're being asked to believe. And this is where you got to take off your emotional hat and put on your critical thinking hat. A movie made 1.3 billion. The actor passed away. Mm-hmm. I'm coming into your office. You are the CEO of Disney, and Marvel is under that umbrella. I come into your office and I say to you, we're finna kill off the leading character to a movie that just made $1.3 billion.
You probably don't work at Marvel no more if you work for me. You know, you probably don't work for Marvel no more.
When you say, let's just cut the BS and let's just call it out for what it is, you couldn't be any more closer to the truth than a little bit. There's no way in the world, and this is where people, oh, no. See, the thing is when we're talking billions of dollars, nobody give a damn about your emotions. We need to stop acting like people give a damn because somebody died. No, nobody give $1 billion. You got people that will knock you off for $50. The actor already passed away. The character, due to the actor's portrayal, made 1.3 billion. At the very least, I know I still got the character in place. I can get some of this change. I just need to get somebody that's credible that can do what that actor did, if not do close to it. I might not get 1.3, but I might be able to get 1 billion, right? We're being asked to believe as people that got high school diplomas and college degrees. You and I are being asked to believe that they said no to $1.3 billion because the actor died.
That's that's the hardest part to get across to people because people won't stop thinking about the emotion behind it and think about the financials. But I agree with you. I don't think, and they've told us as much as that it wasn't as emotion filled. They keep putting that out there that it was emotional decision, but then they're like, oh well, it was this many conversations, and oh I talked to him too. That shows me that y'all all were trying to work your way through this because you knew what type of financial risk you were taking here. So I you can't possibly say that didn't play a role. You're right about that. Let's see here. Where are we at? Y'all know Ryan Coogler is doing another comic book film, Bitterroot. Yes, I do know that he was doing Bitterroot. It's more than likely being delayed right now because of man, what is her name? The actor. She just lost her son this year. Suicide.
I know
Regina King. Regina King. She was supposed to play she was supposed to play Ma, the grandma from the series. So we'll see. I know she's on a hiatus right now though, so that's probably gonna get delayed. My problem isn't with Ryan Coogler's ability to make a series or a film. My problem is his over reliance on these tropes, and I'm hoping that as a filmmaker he eventually grows out of that. Because He's great with cinematography. He is a good character piece movie maker, but I just feel like he's too reliant on tropes that he didn't live, by the way. That's
Right.
what's most concerning about it to me is that I look at his projects and I just naturally assume, I look at his background here where he's from and see the art that he creates, and probably, to my dismay, probably it's probably on me, but I assume things about him that aren't the case. Ryan Coogler grew up in a middle class two-parent household, nuclear.
He grew up in a better home than way too many of us did. I'm not gonna say a lot, but way too many of us did. And we would want to see that play out on screen. Like I did not,
Yeah,
I didn't get that,
exactly. Like, give us that. I
you know,
understand that certain viewpoints have to be shown, and we have to tell those stories too. But at the same time, just like you told me several months ago, there's no balance. There's no balance to that. And when there's only that, I can only put it up to the creatives to provide the balance. When Hollywood wants to push us one way, you can't give it up to nobody else other than the creators and hold them responsible for providing the balance. And
yeah,
he
like,
hasn't really done that as a creator. I don't feel like.
and I think that's the thing. Like I know my criticisms come across as harsh, and if they are, they are. But I want to see us grow when it comes to stars like and I Megan Thee Stallion. I like WAP. I couldn't be mad at WAP not when I listened to Throw That D by Two Live Crew. You feel what I'm saying? But I
Mm-hmm.
want to see her grow. She's a beautiful person to me as far as like her talent goes. She comes across to me as being able to do more than just that. I get that she liked that. If I was an R&B singer, my favorite type of music would probably be love making music. But I would want to put a gospel song out there. I would want to put an R&B track to get the club popping and everything like that, a dancing song. But I know that that's my stuff. So I just want to see these people grow because honestly, they label us and they stereotype us and box us in on too many occasions. So you get Ryan Coogler out here, and this is all you're writing. Well, I'm able to look at it and say, brother, you keep doing like this, it's gonna be a movie project that you really want to do that ain't got nothing to do with stereotypical tropes, and they're not gonna let you do it because they don't think you can make no money from
He's making him. You know what he's likening himself to? It's kind of Tyler Perry esque, and I don't want to put that on any young creator. And honestly, it's not that fair because he's not as cartoonish as Tyler
it.
Perry. But in
Not at all.
terms of playing on the tropes, you right there with Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and all of those that love to feed us black trauma porn. So I
And
really hope that that ends up being something that he kind of works his way out of post Black
for
Panther
your,
too.
for your generation, I feel bad. You're not getting the school days. You're
I
not
don't.
getting to have.
You know what though? You know who I think our Spike Lee is? The unapologetically black and doesn't have to find a way to make it sad or painful or grief
Tell me who you
riddled.
got.
Issa Rae.
Huh? Yeah.
Issa Rae. That's who it
I
is. I don't know if they'll ever let her write fantasy or sci-fi, but she can do comedy. She can do
yes,
drama.
yes,
She
yes.
can do, she can do romance, obviously, and she's the
You know,
only one. Lena Waithe here and there, right? Lena Waithe is a
that's the only
proponent
thing.
of black relationships, but Issa Rae is the one who does it the most effectively to me.
And that's the thing that I don't like. She's the only one. You're right. She's immensely
Antoine
talented.
Fuqua, Antoine
And
Fuqua,
here you
and
go.
Nate Parker.
Can I throw this out here as a shameless plug? Can I throw this out here as a shameless plug?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I wrote Stomp the Yard 3. It's not out. I wrote Stomp the Yard 3 because I love the first movie. The second one, and the third movie reached out to Rainforest Films and everything, was to have someone in their 40s, late mid 40s, early 40s, got a daughter. You see the screen open up, it pans back. The daughter's getting in the car with her mother and everything. She looks like she's college age, high school age. And she said, Daddy, I can't stand you. I don't want to see you no more and everything like that. The dude goes to his job. His bosses tell him, say, hey, My boss said he's trying to promote you, but he needs you to pick up that last college credit. He said, okay. The dude wound up going to the same college his daughter's going to, Truth University. This dude is a b-boy dancer from back in the day. He's the one that would have taught Sly from the first Stomp the Yard movie how to step. He was in college, but he dropped out because he had his daughter. So now he goes back. And what do they do? Hey man, we need you to help us step. I ain't give you no trauma in that. I ain't give you I ain't give you no black tropes in there. I give you a dude going back to school to get his education. Yeah. I give you a story in which the old build a bridge back to the young. You see old dance steps with new dance steps. I give you a father-daughter building their relationship. I give you the father and the daughter's mother repairing their relationship. Not when they get back together, but co-parenting like they're supposed to. What's so hard about telling a movie like that?
I do not know, man. I cannot tell you. Maybe it just doesn't make it a lot. Well, you know what it probably is, and I'll say this to wrap up that part of the conversation. White people don't want to buy that content about black people. They much rather see us in roles that fit their preconceived notions. At least that's my summation about it.
We got to do better then. We got to come together and start letting it be known we're not going to keep spending money on nonsense.
Fact. Stop buying it. Stop buying it. Hey, I appreciate everybody that came to rock with us today, man. Yep. 40 likes. Okay, I see that, man. We got a lot of people coming through here, a lot of the regulars. Appreciate everybody that left the comment, that liked, even the rewatch crew. If you're getting back to this, after the fact, after the live, definitely appreciate you looking. Any final notes on any of the books?
Man, listen. All I can tell you is go get that Wakanda book. Go get that Wakanda book. Go get that Wakanda book. And if you got some extra change to spend and you want to get that Avengers 1000, it's not an ongoing series. It's a one shot. You can go get that, pick that up, and everything like that. If you just want to see what they have to say about Mosi, Black Panther 1 million BC. But that Wakanda book, go get that. I don't think there's much more we can say about Kieron Gillen and the run on the A.X.E. He got it. We tuning in for it. So that's
sure, man. I think the next one up is going to be Judgment Day number 7. And so, with this live chats, we are caught up on those reviews. So I'll be, by the LCS on Wednesday next week to grab that, and we'll get another review out for you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Give us any of the thoughts that we didn't get to, during the live stream on the books in the comments below.
Know if I want us to do more lives when it comes to comic book reviews. That way, me and Marcus can get our time organized to what.
Absolutely. Yeah, if this is something that you guys enjoy, definitely let us know. These are kind of hit or miss for us on our channel. So, we can definitely, make this actually, this was a little bit more easier than making the video. So if y'all like this format as opposed to the breakdowns, let us know in the comments. Other than that, it's Back of the Bus podcast. It's your boy Marcus. I ain't saying, I'm just saying, with your boy Theo B. Be at you next week.
Peace.